All right. Well, hello out there in Dlive land, everybody. Welcome to the Trilogy Show. I'm the coin captain. I'm the coin captain.
BK.
I thought it was, for the triangle, you're second. Sorry. For the...
Oh, well, you can't tell me that.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Trilogy Show. I'm the coin captain.
I'm BK Johnson.
And I'm Gilly P.
And this is really confusing.
Because together, we
are Trilogy. Boy, you changed the time.
Discombobulated.
You changed the time, and it just goes crazy, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, it does.
This is totally going to go into the blooper reel. Yes. Well, hello, guys. How are you?
I just finished streaming. I'm
good.
Good. Glad to hear it. We got a little sunset picture today by Sookie Smackhouse. Awesome. That's a nice one. I like that. All right, so for those of you that are tuning in right now, we are Trilogy, we're Trilogy, and it's just three guys having a conversation, but we're going to invite you into the conversation and see. We're going to talk about three different topics that are on our hearts or minds, and hopefully engage you in a little stimulation for your mind and for your heart. That's the goal. We're each going to take a turn at the top of the on the triangle.
We'll get to the top of the carousel.
We'll get to the top of the carousel. That would be nice.
Dlive.
Let's go, Dlive. No, but we'll take turns at the top of the triangle. Thank you. Yeah, you just had dinner with him, so I'm sure you can work something out there, Gilly P.
We'll work it out.
Let's send it over.
Let's do it. Yeah, where is that?
No pressure, guys. No pressure.
Hold on, I think we got something here. Wait, you know what? Actually, there he is. He just popped into the chat. Look at that.
There he is.
Yep.
He possesses great skills.
He does. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Charles.
Justin Sunrose.
So normally Justin Sunrose. Normally we do this on a Sunday evening for me. It's a Monday afternoon for these guys. And we were talking earlier today. We're like, you know what? Hey, we're all available. Why not? Let's do a pop-up extra Trilogy show. See if we can, spread the love a little bit more than usual. We'll still be back again Sunday night, Monday afternoon, wherever you are in the world. But a little extra juice for you this week. We'll call it juice. We're giving them the juice.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Fascinating. Yeah, let's give them some juice.
When you're on top, you can do whatever you want, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. If I want to give them the juice, they're going to drink it.
What?
Oh my.
Mature. Should we mature tag this? No, we can't, because then we won't get on the carousel.
We'll see what happens.
Nah, it's all right if we don't get on the carousel. It doesn't matter. We're just going to hang out, have a conversation. So let's catch up. It's only been a few days compared to normally how long it takes for us to catch up. Anything new?
Are we going to do one on Monday as well? So is this like a bonus pop-up show?
It is a bonus.
The
yeah,
bonus
didn't
pop-up
you,
show.
man? I thought we worked on that. We're going to do one every single day.
In blood
you
and
agreed
urine.
to it.
Yeah, we took urine tests. We had blood.
Illogical.
We're doing
Blood
the sleep
brothers,
stream tomorrow. We're all and then
3 hours sleep stream.
and then we're going to do the 24-hour trilogy the next day. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
You cop.
Hey, more trilogy, always the better for me.
I didn't hear what he said. What was that?
You guys, are you a cop? Scram.
Are you a cop? No, I'm not a cop. I'm CIA, but you already knew that.
I know that.
Isn't it FBI?
In God we trust, and the CIA we trust. We know what's going on there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've been doing great. Like the Tournament of Champions of Best of 5 Dlive starts tomorrow. Lynn's and John Paranormal versus Made Up TV round 1 kicks off tomorrow. So I'm excited about that.
Should we mention why we're able to do this today? Because someone got a little scared about meeting me on Best of 5. Should we?
That's all you, Mr. Bottom.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, I usually, I don't speak ill of the Doom, but that's okay if you want to.
I'm not speaking ill of the Doom either.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
After a week of him talking smack, He got scared and left.
It's just what happened. It's not talking smack. It's just what happened. So.
No, he talked smack. He was like, "You guys."
That's what I mean. Yeah.
It's a shame. I hope he's okay. I think something came up and he had to go and deal with it. But in all seriousness, I hope everything's okay, and we'll just reschedule it and get it done. We'll make sure what's going on. Hey, Total Siege. Hey, Dave Culp.
Yeah, Dave Culp.
Well,
Siege, thanks, man. And actually, I'm sorry. I just have to say, Lindsay and John Paranormal, thank you. I know you posted that like 3 or 4 times. Takes me a minute to catch up, but I see it now. That's the Rum Spice Pirate Booty Wash, not for
is that what it is?
Oh, that's what that is?
That is what that is.
If you can't boost it, why would you use it?
Resistance is futile.
Well, because if you're a smelly pirate hooker, you need to clean that booty. That's what it is. Hey,
it's my duty to clean that booty.
Linz, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing that. I've got that sticker saved now. I appreciate that. That's really cool. Nice of you to get that to happen. I'm not sure what you did, but you did it. So thank you. And a little cheers.
Wait, this isn't booty wash, is it?
No, we don't. No,
Could be.
Well, I can send you a bottle now that I have it here, if you would like to test it out.
You are my booth buddy. I'm feeling a little bit left out that you didn't send that earlier, but I guess you were testing it out as long as it's captain approved.
I would never give my friends anything I wasn't sure was safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah. Doomwave, we do wish you the best and hope you're doing okay. I'm excited to see, because I was hyping it up. I was super hyped about it because it's the first time 2 VPs are going head to head. And so we're in the process of rescheduling, right, Gil? So hopefully we'll get that to you soon, because Gilly P and Doomwave are just a ball to hang out with, just like Trilogy.
What if he gets scared again, though?
I don't know. If he does, he's a big boy.
Is there a point at which somebody would forfeit? I mean, if they keep dragging it on.
Did you see my quote today? Today's daily quote is from Burner Girl, and
I did not see it.
She's going to be shy. She actually said, look, I found this in a fortune cookie. So she says, give fortune cookie credit. I'm like, no, you're telling me it. And we don't know who it's from. It's just in a fortune cookie. But it's if you do the thing you fear, the death of fear is certain. Like, you're going to kill that fear. So hopefully, if you do the thing you fear there, hopefully Doom can get over his fears. He'll just do it. He did it once. He can do it again. He did it once with Cat Morgana. Gil is just a little bit intimidating. We all know that. So Gil he's got to have 2 tries.
Especially when he's on top.
That's why we keep him on bottom early. Get him warmed up.
It's only when you're looking up to me.
But yeah, I fear, actually, a little sneak peek. That is one of the subjects I would want to talk about in Trilogy one of these days. So my quote of the day. Yeah, fear is going to be.
I actually like that. I like that a lot. Fear, I tend to be on the more adventurous side. Like, if I haven't done something, it makes me want to do it more. And whereas I understand for some people it's the opposite, right? The fear of the unknown makes them hesitant to try out new things. But for me, it's been the opposite. I want to do things more if I haven't done them. And yeah, I have 6 kids. So it's interesting to see.
You've done it all.
How as I have. I've tried a little bit of everything. It's interesting to see how they each are different in that regard, right? Some of them are like, I don't want to try anything new, and others are like, what is that? Let me touch it. Let me smell it. Let me eat it. Let me lick it. It's like, you probably don't want to lick that, but I mean, if that's what you want.
Literally had that same conversation with someone who wasn't a child.
Well,
I actually believe that.
The interesting thing is, that like a lot of how babies always like grab things and then put it in their mouth because they say the teething and stuff, but they end up doing that because like your tonsils is kind of it's like the natural way to get antibodies, and what they're putting things in their mouth so they can get antibodies through their tonsils is what I heard, and I'm like, that's pretty interesting. And yeah, you're right. When they're an adult, you hopefully you've gotten those antibodies already. You don't need to lick that. But
also the most sensitive chemical analyzer that we have happens to be your mouth. So that's why for a very long time, people would taste things to see whether they were alkaline, whether they were acidic, whether they were sweet. I mean, people are probably going to be grossed out, but it used to be the test for diabetes. Was someone actually tasting
diabetes?
They checked the diabetes.
I got diabetes.
They had the diabetes.
But But it was a doctor actually tasting urine to see if it was sweet or not, because that's one of the until I think it was the 1960s. That was the common way of diagnosing if someone was diabetic or not.
Is this where the Rip Torn thing came, where you drink your own urine because you like the taste? So if you've got diabetes, it's sweeter.
Diabetes. No, I mean it's literally. It's not you drink a cup of it.
It's like, what?
You taste like our tongues.
It's
our
like
mouths.
a wine tasting, BK.
Oh.
Yeah, you swirl it around and spit it back out. And go,
I got it.
You get diabetes, but a large part of how we explore the world is through, and tasting such a huge sense. So,
like
it's
hey, keep tasting away, Gilly P down there. I mean,
you send me your
my urine sample, and you'll let me know how I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I mean, talking about Doomwave, he has these pee jars that he streams for 5 hours and leaves.
Oh.
And there's times where I'm like, "Are you peeing right now?"
Would not want the job of urine taster. In the old days, they must have specialized in it, right? They must have specialized.
That's a hard pass for me.
It was a GP. Like it was the way GPs diagnosed their patients.
Oh wait,
honestly.
the main doctor had to do it.
Well, hold on. If you think about it, if you were in a country town and you couldn't get to a hospital or blood test or whatever else, and like there was one doctor for, let's say, a town or whatever in the Midwest, or what are you going to do? Like, you got someone, they're showing all the symptoms. What are you going to do? And remember that, like, a lot of this stuff was being diagnosed back, forget 1900s, 1800s, right? I mean, there were certain things that people started catching on. Now, urine's not the only thing that people use their mouths to work out what was going on. I mean, there's a lot of different things that people back before we had technology, before we understood that washing your hands is really important and all that sort of stuff, they would be like,
I'm sad that the doctors nowadays don't have like guys like the guy who invented those tests to stop that on the wall at all times. It's like, I'm curious about the numbers of as soon as they came up with that test, they didn't have to, lick the urine.
You don't want to see you don't want to hear what they did about infertility.
The doctors just spiked up. The amount of doctors just came, it just spiked as soon as those tests came out.
But you know what?
67. Thank you so much for the
follow.
Appreciate that. Welcome in.
It's kind of an interesting thing because I don't know about in America, but over in Australia in the 80s, they used to do a thing called a random alcohol test when you're driving, or random breath test. So they were pulling people over because they were drinking and driving, and it was causing lots of deaths and fatalities on the road. So, a comedian in Australia said, you know what? I think that if a policeman wants to know how much alcohol you drink, you should pee in a bottle, and the policeman has to drink it, because then he knows exactly how much piss you drink. In Australia, piss is a slang term for beer. So I just realized that it's not going to work. That's not going to work with two Americans, an American and a weeboo.
You guys go old school back in Australia, huh? Tasting it for the diagnosis.
I mean, it was just a joke, and I always find it funny. All right, wow. So that's my question. My question: would you taste urine if it meant that you could save your life?
I'm gonna wait for the top.
Well, of course. I mean, if it's life or death, of course. But
I only listen to the top questions, Gil. Sorry, you're bottom right now.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'll wait till my question.
Would I taste urine? Would I taste urine to determine? Well, again, if I was a doctor, you kind of know what you're signing up for. That's what I mean with student. But okay, regardless of that, I need to taste someone's urine to try to diagnose something to help them with their health.
When I'm saying tasting, I'm like, they stick a finger in, and it's like, okay, yeah that's sweet.
Yeah, like the old cop shows, like when they have like the powder, and then they do that.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, like the cop shows.
Someone right now is complaining to Dlive. They're talking about urine and medical procedures.
It's medical.
This is actually making me think of one of my favorite. What's the word? Not doxing. No, when you
catfishing.
He's a urine drinker.
No, stop. It'll come to me in a second. The rum kills a few brain cells.
I'm literally waiting for someone to come in and follow us with the name urine drinker. Urine taster.
Now you just willed it into existence. No, hazing. That's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
One of my favorite hazings that has to do with this. I work for those of you that don't know.
One of my favorite hazings. You have many hazings, but this is my favorite.
You know what? I think I know this story. Does it happen to involve a drug test?
Yes, it does.
I actually know the story.
Okay, so
not from the captain, from someone else.
All right, so
go ahead.
I work for an airline. I'm a flight attendant. That's my career, and so a lot of times what'll happen, we're subject to getting random drug tests as soon as we pull into the gate. Right, we pull into the plane pulls in, the jetway pulls up, we open the door, and standing right there is a person with a clipboard, and they're like, "Are you the coin captain? We need to take you for a random test." And they take you down into the depths of the airport and they give you a little test. But the newbies don't know how it works, right? They know that the random drug tests exist, but because they're brand new, they've never experienced it. They don't know all the details. So what happens is usually the pilot will go into the
captain. The real captain, not the
real
coin
captain. Yes, not the coin captain. The real
flight captain.
We'll take an apple juice and a cup into the bathroom and come out and so then when we pull into the gate, well, this is okay. So we pull into the gate, and as soon as the door opens, he comes up and goes to the bathroom, and then comes out with the cup and goes to the new person and says, "Hey, we all have to give a urine sample, so you're gonna have to." Because they're asking for it right now, so you have to go into the bathroom and give a little urine sample in a cup. And so they do. These new people, they come, they go into the bathroom, they and they're carrying the cup out around the plane, like, where do I put it? Where's my sample? We're like, and the joke is that the captain did it, but it was with apple juice.
So I've heard the end of it, which is, so the one that I've heard exactly the same thing is that they're all standing around and like everyone else goes in and they leave some apple, like a little thing of apple juice, and the last person before the newbie goes in takes it with them, right? And says, "Okay, this is mine." Yeah. And then they're all standing around and the person goes, "What do we do with it?" And the captain's like, "Oh, they told us we don't need it," and he drinks it.
Yeah.
To the shock of the new person.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That actually, yes. Right. Like at the end to blow the whole.
I was waiting for someone to drink it. Yeah, with the apple juice.
Yeah. No, right. He's like, yeah, that is part of it. I forgot to mention that part. Thank you, Gilly P, for cleaning up my act.
Wait, this is hazing?
I mean, isn't that kind of always the way? Gilly P's cleaning
I'm glad it didn't end with them making.
How does Gilly P know about this? That's what I want to know.
Oh my!
You used to fly a lot, man. You're a frequent flyer, or were.
Still, yeah. Actually, I believe that not this week, but next week I'm going to be heading off again to do a bit of a job interstate, which I'm looking forward to. First time since COVID. Gonna have to wear a mask. That's okay, but I'm going to sit there. You're a freak. You know that people know you on an airline when you do a different route and someone comes up and goes, "You're that guy who comes up every blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Yeah, we know you. You just sit there, you watch a movie, you wear a cap, you never any hassle," and I'm like, "Yeah, can I go see the captain now?"
Don't eat asparagus before you haze anyone. Look at BK.
Well, Julianne was saying, shouldn't you be able to smell it? I'm like, not if you do it right. You got to get pretty close to smell.
I mean, but in that moment, you're not thinking about that. You're like, oh my God, I'm new. I have a drug test now. Like, you're not thinking of all the details. You're like, really? I got to pee? Okay, fine.
You know what? It would be really funny if the new person, if it was me and it was a new person, I'd go up to someone and be like, "Hey man, can I buy you a pee?" Even if I was fine. I'd be like, I go up to stop me and I'm like, "Dude, I need you to do two. I'll give you $500.
Another good one is we were like midway, and then we go to the newbie and we're like, "Hey, the captain says there's a problem with the plane and we need to get an air sample in the cabin," and we get him to take a bag and start walking through the cabin to like get a sample of air. It's so funny. It's like,
and then I've seen this actually happen where like there's this big like trash bag that's full of air. It looks like a big balloon just sitting there,
right?
And you hear them go, "You got to take this down to the airport offices." So that there's some person walking around.
Yeah, they're carrying around this big bag of air. Exactly. Stupid. Oh my God. And I mean, these are the days gone by. Right nowadays, they're cracking down. They're like, "Oh, there's no hazing allowed," which I get. I mean, it can be destructive sometimes. But I'll give you one more. This one is more of the
Is it the same? It's the same group of people doing a different hazing for new people, right? Same type of job? Is the same situation or like same?
It's still from my job.
It's still from your job. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No wonder it is your favorite. You do have many hazing rituals.
I was the victim of a few of them. One that they did on me was a
Electric
simple
windows.
No, it was a simple one. On the safety card when you do the demonstration, like with the seatbelt and everything, they put on the safety card like a note that said like something like "Marry me, fly free" or some silly message. And it was like, and for 3 days straight, I'm showing this safety card, and I had no idea they had put a note on it. And I'm showing, and it's like every day they could put like a new embarrassing note.
That's
that
awesome.
one I did fall for it. But no, my favorite, and this one's cruel. I will admit this one's cruel. So we have the little mini liquor bottles on the plane that we serve the passengers. You got the little rums, the little vodkas, or whatever.
All the rums are missing for some reason on a flight.
And so what you do when the
captain's got them all in his bag.
This is where I'm going with it. When the newbie's not looking, they're busy doing something. You put like a whole bunch of those bottles in their bag, and then when you get to the gate, you say, "Hey, they're here. They're going to do a random bag check on all of us." And so everybody starts opening up their bags. You get an accomplice in the jetway, like from the airline, and you start open, and then they open up their bag, and all the liquor bottles are, and they're sweating because they're like, "I'm gonna get fired." Oh my god, it's terrible. Oh, it's so cruel. It's so really cruel, mean. But it's so funny. I mean, maybe I'm revealing my evil side, but I am a pirate, so I do have a little bit of one. But no,
Did they do that to you?
No, I did not. I've only heard that story. I've never done it to anyone, and I've never had it done to me. But I know that it has been done. It's not just a rumor. Like, it has actually happened. But that, I think, honestly, that was probably one of the ones that started us on the track of where the
you can't do it.
Okay, no more hazing, no more, right?
So the other one that I know of that I saw and I was kind of chuckling to myself was that I was on a long haul flight from Australia to the US, and look, I don't know if people travel a lot, but on those long haul flights, the stewards and stewardesses are pretty relaxed. So if you want to sit at the back, they'll talk to you because it's such a long flight and you're trying to break it up. It's very friendly. There's snacks and all the rest of it. And I was sitting there and I was watching this stewardess who's obviously just on probably the first time on a long haul flight, and she's reaching over 3 people and touching the window, and then going to the next one and touching the window, the next one and touching the window, touching the window, touching the window. And it gets, I happen to be sitting there and I said, "What are you checking for?" And she goes, "Oh, the captain has an indicator that some of the electric, like the heaters on the windows aren't working, and he wants to isolate it because there could be so I'm just, and I just start chuckling to myself. And she's like, why are you laughing? And I go, well, there's 2 panels on the window, right? I mean, on Boeings and long haul flights, there's a window on the outside and a window on the inside, and there's air between. So regardless, you're not going to feel the temperature. And she's like, ah. So, she went off and she was like, ah. And then I went to go get a snack and they were like, did you tell her that it was 2? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, she's a newbie, we're hazing her. Sorry. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I just thought it was really, really funny. And that's when I had a conversation with the people about some of the things that they do. And it was quite funny. But the captain was like, obviously got her on the horn and was like, we don't know which window it is. Can you go and check every window? It's all cold. They're all broken.
Well, I didn't intend to open up a topic of hazing, but this is actually making me think of some stuff. Like, has there ever, do you guys have any knowledge or like, has there ever been like hazing on live streaming? Like, you go to a new streamer and they've been hazed by other streamers, like for the fun of it, right? Like to kind of, I mean, if hazing is done right, it's done as a way to build community and welcome somebody in and kind of build a camaraderie, right? But I understand it can be cruel and misused.
There was this time when the Trilogy Show got started. We did do a practice show and there was a green room, I don't know. Gilly P got a little bit.
Have you guys ever heard any live streaming hazing stories?
I'm trying to think.
You know what? I'm kind of like, the only thing I can think of was when I first started, people in my stream were like, go into other people's streams and ask for followers. And I did, and that didn't go well. But it actually worked out that I became friendly with the streamer, and he's unfortunate. I don't think he's around anymore. I think he's left. But
did he mean it, or was he actually pranking you?
No. So there was people in my stream, right? And they were like, "Go and ask for followers," and I would get the terminology at Dlive wrong, so I thought followers were
Subs?
like YouTube was like subs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Hi, I'm a new streamer. I'm just looking for followers," and the person was like, "No, get out of here! You can't. What the?" And I was like, "Whoa, no! I didn't mean it that way." So that, and people were chuckling. And then there was another time, which now I know again is just people kind of a little bit hazing. Was they were like, "Hey man, go into someone else's stream and ask to talk to them, and that's a way you can get followers." And that led to the infamous Australia, what's that? And Gil Pickle came out of that conversation as well.
Oh wow!
So and again, in the long run, I became friendly with that streamer. So it was pretty funny. But they were like, "No, dude, you don't go around and kind of crash other people's streams." Like I think about it now. I don't know, if someone new kind of came in and said, "Hey, I want to chat," I probably would, because Dlive is such a great place to support new streamers. But I realize now that there were definitely people who were suggesting it, who were like, "This is a train crash. Let's watch what's going on."
It's funny because
Hey, Suki! Suki!
Our resident photographer at the Trilogy Show.
And Sook, just to let you know, I know I'm going to use a broad stream, but go check your Discord. I kind of reached out to you yesterday and didn't get a reply. I want to make sure you're okay.
Cool. All right, so let's go haze somebody. Come on, let's go, guys.
All right, guys, who are we gonna haze today?
Who's the newest streamer we know?
Yeah,
I think it's Suki. Hey, Suki. No.
Well, actually, no. Well,
she's gonna haze us.
There's a few in the chat.
I thought she's gonna haze us to make us.
The thing is, they're not gonna fall for it. They're not gonna fall. Me, I'm gullible.
I was gonna say something, but then it might be a little bit too raw given what happened last. Instead, it's gonna be like,
we don't like it raw here. Maybe we do.
Whoa!
Do we like it raw?
Whoa! I eat sushi all the time, so sometimes I like it raw.
Look at you bringing it back to sushi. All right, man.
You like sushi like I like sushi? Hey, man, Susie's my girl, man.
That's how we roll.
Oh, you know what? That's
roll.
A movie I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play that movie on Discord. There's a movie called They Call Me Bruce, and it's a Asian comedian who's like making jokes that everyone thinks he's Bruce Lee.
Oh.
And at one point, he goes into a bar, and it's like a redneck bar, and he's all like, "Do you like sushi like I like sushi?" And the guy's like, Susie's my girl. What are you talking about? It starts to fight.
That's awesome.
It's like, I like sushi. I have it every day, morning, noon, and night. And he's like, what?
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'll have to share that with with the G crew.
Coin though, I'm actually more like you, where I think I'd fall for it too. Like I'm pretty gullible with that.
I'm so gullible.
It's not really gullible. I let
and stuff goes over my head too.
I let them do it because it's like I want to see what happens. Is usually what happens with me. It's like I want to see what happens because I think it might be, but I'm like, oh, all right, go. I want to see what you do.
So Coin Captain, go into my stream. You'll see a thing that says BTT TRX. This is going to help your stream. Put in 100 million TRX. But it's good because I'm gonna give you 1 block of silver for it.
Oh. Silver. Sounds legit.
All right, I'll check that out after the stream.
No, do it now,
dude. He's got like, Coin Captain. Facts are facts.
On top.
Facts are facts. It's the truth. He's got 200 more followers than you. He's a VP. Just do it. I'm sure you'll get VP if you just do that. Mm-hmm. Just go.
Yeah.
There's one problem with this though.
Charles said he'll make you a VP now.
See?
Oh wow, that's really cool. There's only one problem with this, Gil.
Not Charles Wayne. Charles in Charge from the TV show.
Xavier?
What's his name? Scott Baio said it right now.
Oh, I thought it was Charles Xavier because only he can talk through the brain. Because whenever like Charles is saying it, what?
But Gil, we have a problem.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I'm on top.
Mm.
Oh my. So if anybody's going to be telling somebody what to do,
take it easy when you talk to me, okay?
Yeah. Aye, Captain. Aye, Captain. Let's go.
Ultimately, it all comes down to
money.
So yeah.
And I think it'd be fair to say that would be my domain. Money. That's what my stream's about.
You know what? I had this. I had this dream that we actually met in real life, Coin Captain, when I walked into your
That was a
your home.
nightmare. That was not a dream.
Oh,
That
when
was
when we met, there were people singing this.
Cash or check or MasterCard.
Literally, like as you walk in, it's like, pay your dues, son. Pay your dues.
Actually, maybe I could use that as my entry music on Best of 5.
Ooh, I can get that to you.
Now I have the silver and gold, although I do that one's good too. And I need the pirate one.
Yeah, but
I might need a whole reel
was
there.
Silver and Gold. When did Silver and Gold release? 1912.
Silver and Gold.
The song.
The song.
It's timeless.
Isn't the Frosty the
It's
Snowman time,
timeless.
right?
It spans the ages, Gilly P. I like calling you Gilly P. It's just.
I know everyone does.
Charles Reynolds.
You know who started that, right?
I don't.
Well, that happened to be.
Look, he forgot.
So that
himself.
happened to be Chimani.
Oh, really?
Chimani started it. Every time I go on there, he's
money.
like,
money.
Yeah,
Money.
Hold on, let's do it properly. It's cha.
Money.
It works. So yes. You know what's really funny? I don't know if you guys catch Chimani at all, but he has people chatting out to him at the start, and there's a guy. He obviously called in some sort of internet radio show. The guy's like, "Who is this? Is this Mo Money? Is this Mo Money? Cha Money? What? So every time I go in there, I'm like, "Hey, Mo Money, how you doing?" And it just cracks him up every single time. Okay, am I speaking to Mo Money?
No money, no problems.
That's right. I better take charge
no
here.
problems.
I've let the bottoms reign a little bit too long. I think I'm going to reel it in here and take charge. Are you guys ready? I have a topic.
No. All right.
Yes.
Okay, go.
So, let me take. I can't now. I'm like doing the money thing, but with let me.
Money.
Let me. Whenever we get set up for these, I'm always like, what the hell am I going to talk about? Sometimes I know what I'm going to talk about because it's just on my mind. Other times I'm like scrounging. I need a topic. But today, what was on my mind was the
Hey,
5.
Fallen.
Oh, Fallen's in here. Oh,
Fallen's
what are you
in here
doing?
too.
That's a squirrel, man. I have ADD. That's a cheap trick from a bottom to distract the top. Squirrel. How's it going, Fallen? Good to see you. Much love. 5 love languages. That is my topic. Are you guys familiar with the 5 love languages? It originally started a book by I think it was Chapman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got
Anyway,
love on the mind.
Are you guys familiar with it?
So, Captain, actually, I bought 2 copies when I started dating.
One for you and one for me.
The amazing person that I'm dating right now, because it was like, hey, you know what? I get to know you and all the rest of it. I think it's a very, very clever book.
Yeah, I agree. It's given me a lot of.
I haven't read it, but I've heard of it. Can you go over the 5?
Absolutely. So the bait.
Oh.
What? It was got Lady Crocheter with
Run.
the host. I know. Hide. Flush the silver.
Flush the silver. Flush it all. God, this Coin Captain, this stash is huge. What's your problem? This is gonna take forever to flush.
The 5 love languages. So the theory is that everybody speaks love through a language, right? Just what we have, German, Italian, Chinese, English, different languages that we use to communicate. The same is true in the world of love, that everybody speaks a different language of love as their primary language. And there are people that speak multiple languages, right? Just like there are people
Mesopotamian is mine.
Hi.
What is it?
Mesopotamian.
Mesopotamian.
Go Google
Mesopotamian
it up.
or Potamian? I've heard of Po.
No, not Potamian. Mesopotamian.
Whoa,
It's an old, ancient, dead language.
Oh,
You're okay.
is that why no one can love you? Because you speak the Mesopotamian?
No, I found. No, what did you say? Mesopotamian? What?
I have no idea what
That's
you're
something
talking
else, dude.
Oh my gosh.
All right, the bottom's out of control. Go for it, Coin.
They are. I'm doing a terrible
BK, you and I
job
got to
at
talk off stream, man. I think you're doing something wrong. That's all.
I'm sorry.
I'm a terrible top today. But I'm gonna hopefully,
Today.
No way, man. I'm not gonna take that. The other week, was it last week or the week before? I got you good, man. I got backed you into a corner, and you just spilled the beans like a. Well, we won't use the euphemism.
What?
Okay.
What?
All right, so here we go.
I'm flat knackered.
Are you talking about the Star Wars Star Trek thing
Yes,
again?
I am, sir. Yes, I am.
Man, I hazed you on that.
That was my
baby.
shining.
I hazed you.
No, that was my
hazing.
No, no backpedal. No, look at you backpedaling. No. Everybody saw it. It's on video. If it's on video, it's real. And that's my shining moment on the trilogy that I got you to spill.
Oh man, seriously, that's that low? I think much higher of you.
I'm BK. Come on, BK. Yeah. Wasn't that an amazing moment?
Yeah, I totally blame it on. I don't think it was hazing. I don't think it was that, but I do think it was the massive amounts of medication and pain medication that Gil P was on.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was.
It became a truth serum, is what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
All right, no. All right, so the theory is that everybody speaks love in a different way. You better put the bridge on, man. I know you're a Trekkie. I know. Get that bridge on there. Make it so. Yeah, see, he's rebellious today. I'm gonna have to spank him a little extra. Yeah. All right, the 5 love languages that Mr. Chapman asserts in his book are verbal, right? And so you might speak love. Oh, I love you.
I love you.
You're beautiful. Or all the any
beautiful
verbal
it's
compliments,
true.
verbal praise, verbal assurance. Is one of the main languages that people express love in. The second one being acts of service. So doing something for someone, a favor, an errand, helping someone out. That can be an expression of love. Number 3 would be gifts, usually in the form of a physical form. So, jewelry,
like
coins,
yeah, right.
Prostitution.
Yeah, right. Or
I thought you
roses,
said physical.
Flowers.
I thought you said giving physical gifts. What?
Yeah, right. So any kind
treats? Are you talking about treats?
Treats.
Oh,
yeah.
treats.
Speaking of treats, Mr. Gilly P.
Oh, come on.
I've got some treats for you, my friend. You want some treats, buddy? Come on and get them.
Hazing, big time. Hazing alert. We're trying to.
Oh, is that the one you're sending me? The big one?
Oh,
it is. I got it. I got the big one as big as my head.
I thought it was a tiny small one.
I went to the store. No lie. I went to the store today and I picked this up just for you.
Thank God. I thought you were hazing him. Yes, that's Gilly P's. Yes.
But yes, speaking of treats, so they're gifts.
You're going to turn on the stream one day and I'm just going to be big round Gil sitting here
I want to
going,
see you wake up in a bathtub of goldfish. That's what I want to see.
Oh my.
Make sure your nipples
just don't stand up.
Yes.
That's all I ask.
2 goldfish right on your nipples. You can't show nipples.
There, he's gone. Whew. All right, I told him.
We did it.
Yeah, we hazed him out of here.
All right, what are the last 2? There's 2 more.
I keep fading in and out. I'm trying to fix this up. So it's like I'm not in this reality right now.
Oh, agape. Speaking my language. All right, yes. What's the last 2? That's another love language. That's my love language. Agape. What's the last 2?
I want to say thanks to Dave Culp and Callis for the lemons. Appreciate that.
Ooh.
The last 2, all right, so gifts. So we've got verbal, acts of service, gifts, and then we have quality time. Spending time with the other person, just side by side, or just it's a time
intertwined.
Thing, right?
Is that what you're going to say?
Well, no, that would actually be the last one.
But what's the 4th one? I missed it. It was time.
Quality time. Quality time.
Okay.
Yeah. So just spending time with the person. And that can look like a lot of different things, but and then the last one, the 5th one, is physical. So
that's true.
And that could be
too.
That could be all the way,
yes.
To the ultimate expression of physical, to lighter things like holding hands, a pat on the back.
Handshake.
What do you find? I'm just curious. What do you find the ultimate expression of physical?
We're not mature. We're not mature here. I can't speak of these things.
Murder would be.
What?
Because that's the extreme physicality
of love. But that's the opposite of love.
But that's the most extreme physical interaction you can have with a human being, is actually to take their life. So that's why I want to. I know it's not love, but hold on. Love and hate are literally two sides of coin captain's coin.
So you actually, you make a good point. Maybe there are 5 languages of hate then.
Yes.
Right. I mean, because
spending time. Talking.
It'd be the absence of time. It would be
time.
shunning somebody, ignoring somebody. Yeah, that's the opposite. And you know what?
It's like time waster too. Like you can that's what the trolls do. They say I'm gonna be there, and then they're not there, and they wasted your whole time.
You know,
like
Gil,
I did the Coin Captain recently on not being clear on the time zones of what was going on.
Well, yeah, I don't hold anything against you on that. But you know what, Gil? Actually, I'm going to give you props, man, because that was pretty insightful. I mean, in this case, we're talking about the languages of.
We wouldn't expect you to be that smart, Gil.
No,
that's pretty good.
That's pretty great. I mean, I'll give you props there, man. You came a few steps up for that one.
I'm gonna have to get 2 goldfish bottles now, or whatever those are.
2 kinds of goldfish for you. Do you want the flavor
Country
blasted?
and Western.
They have. They have the flavor blasted. Do you want like the pizza flavored one?
No.
They have the extreme cheddar overload as well. You want the extreme? You just want the original, huh?
That extreme cheddar overload, I might have to boof it. I might have to like grind it up and turn it into some sort of paste and boof it. So no, I just the original. I just remember the original. If you really want to throw in something special, any of the Petridge Farm cookies, you know, in the little packets. I used to be a little addicted to those too.
What's your favorite one?
The Milanos.
Milano, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? I'd have to look up for them.
There's Chessman. There's.
Hang on a sec. I'll go. I haven't thought of this since like 2000 when I was living there. What do I call it?
We all really have a lot of ADD going on.
Oh, we do. We are just scared of love. Let's face the fear. Let's face our fear. And kill the fear.
Also, Captain, can you get me a
Too late.
What do I call it? A sobe. You know those little white sobe.
Oh, sobe.
Dude, I was addicted to those.
Yeah. The drinks.
I like the pink sobes. Those were fantastic.
The post office is really restrictive with liquids, though.
Yeah, I know. It's such a shame. I was actually just talking to my better half about it, and I was like, can we make it here? Because I have a photo when I came to visit in like 2014, and I went to visit my old roommate, and we found one like, it was kind of like one of those alcohol stores in LA, and we found sobe, the white one. So we sat outside and took photos like we were homeless, like drinking sobe like it was a wine bottle. It was hilarious.
Man, I miss sobe too. I used to drink that all the time.
So yeah. Actually, this man, you guys are really good bottoms right now, because
Milano,
in a bad way, the opposite, because you are totally throwing me off, and it's fine, it's fun.
Love, hate, so alike these days. Go.
Yeah, we do need some balance.
Just to let you know, Captain, I just checked it out. It is the Milano cookies that I was addicted to.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So,
I'll see what I can do for you. Anybody like Biscoff? I have a ton of Biscoff.
There's
cookies.
mint Milano, orange Milano, double dark chocolate. Anyway, never mind. Keep going. Quick, Karen. What about love and hate?
Whatever.
Well, no. Actually, now you've distracted me fully, and I have something else I want to say. Yeah, I have an idea for us, guys.
Oh,
I have an idea. Because we're talking about me sending things to Gil, and I came up with this idea a while ago, and I was going to talk to you guys about it off stream, but now I'm going to punish you a little bit and surprise you with it. This is my way of smack. There it is.
My friends need punishing.
Look, he's trying to make amends now. He's trying to.
I'm trying to get my cookies. That's what I'm trying to do.
That is my favorite line from Lilo and Stitch, though. You know Lilo and Stitch, where she's using the voodoo dolls and the thing, and they're like, she says, "My friends need punishing." I love that. It's like that's what you're doing right now. Coin Cap's like, "My friends need some punishing." What is the punishing?
No, I had an idea that we could send each other like surprise boxes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then open them up on Trilogy.
The surprise box is like, marijuana and the
sending you all the stuff that's legal where I am.
Coin Captain just talked about the hazing with the bottles of alcohol. It's like, look.
You pick it up and suddenly like there's 50 agents like what the hell?
FBI, open up.
Oh my
for
God.
Real though. Instead of the host, it's a real
I'm totally
one.
down with that, but I don't accept any packages from Australia. So you'll have to route it through Coin Captain. It'll be.
Hold
extra.
on, why can't you take a package from Australia?
I'm joking.
You don't want my package? What
he
are you
doesn't
saying,
like
BK?
your package.
I
He
don't-
likes my package. That's what he's saying.
I hear packages are much nicer and cleaner in America. Or no, wait, what?
Well,
Well,
I am.
well,
I am
I'm
smelly
gonna-
though. I'm a smelly pirate.
They're about to ban them.
Pheromones.
But if we're going to do
Pheromones.
this, I'm going to have to find a kangaroo scrotum coin pouch for Coin Captain and for BK. because there's nothing like a marsupial cat, animals.
Well, when you put it that way, I'll allow one package from Australia. It'll be yours,
There you
Gary
go.
P.
Thank you.
What do you guys think? I think it'd be fun. Just like
Yeah,
we
it'd be real
can
fun.
we can set a dollar value or something, so it doesn't get out of hand. But
$1.
I just sent a
$1
package to Geode Rocks because she asked for it, but I'd love a surprise package that's like, I just send you some nice, lovely things.
What did you send to Geode?
She actually on
a shirt taco.
She said she wanted to send me a shirt taco, which I think she's in the process of. But she said,
"What is a shirt taco?"
You don't know what a shirt taco is? What?
I was on Best of 5 on Dlive with Geode, and the Google Trends where you have to add a word to another word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the word was it shirt? I think it was shirt. Yeah.
Yes.
And so she added taco to it, and I don't know. At the moment, it was you kind of had to be there, I guess. But it was really funny because it was shirt taco, and everybody just laughed. And so then it became a thing, and I actually sent her a shirt with a horse and a taco on it.
Oh, nice.
Here's the shirt taco, Gillis, right in chat. Take a look, right there.
Ew.
Oh, that is
That's Geode Rock's shirt taco. But like, she asked me. She came right after because CoinCap, you introduced me to her with Best of 5 Dlive. Geode Rocks is amazing, and she was so just like positive no matter
she's
what.
amazing.
She had no idea what was going on, but she said, "I'm here to play a game show. Supposedly, CoinCap wants to play against me," and it was great. And but after that, she came to one of my streams, and she was talking about. It was on a Weeaboo Wednesday, so I was talking about Japan stuff, and she said, "Oh, do you know gachapons? I'm like, what are you talking about? 'Cause I've heard of. I was like, gachas maybe. And I guess the long term is gachapon, because pon I think is the sound it makes when you spin the wheel. But it's basically it's one way of it's how they get their kids into gambling. It's basically like, so for one example,
it's you flick the little balls, right? Is that what it is? Pachinko?
That's pachinko. No, gachapon is where like this is like I told you, it's for how they get the kids started on it. So yeah, there's still the balls. It's a little bit different, but there's different prices and different things. So for one example, you could have like if you're a fan of Pokemon, right? There'd be a gachapon machine, and then you can get like Pikachu, Charmander, or whatever type, and then you put in the amount of money, spin the wheel, and one ball comes out, and you hope you get the one you wanted, right? So it's like,
okay.
Or you can collect the whole set, or you keep going. It's like I think in America they do it with like football helmets in the old days when I was doing it. Like I'd collect the whole teams, but yeah. So they do that, and they have some crazy ones. She said, I want the weirdest one you can send me. I was trying to send, one of the weirdest ones I found is, spoiler alert. So wait, I can't say it, just in case Geode watches this. Or can I say it? Geode, you're not here, right? I found some animals, like they had different animals on toilets, and they were going to the bathroom on toilets. You don't get to see anything, but it just looks like they're just like reading a newspaper on a toilet or whatever. And it was like, I did that one, so yeah. There's a couple of us sent her. So I sent her that, and sent her some other little goodies from Japan at the same time. But I would like to do the same for you guys. That'd be great.
Yeah, well, we can work out all the details off stream, I guess. But I think it'd be fun, and then we can embarrass each other by opening it up. Having each other open
perfect.
up the
Proof on stream, right? Oh, should we do it on a Trilogy Show? We all do it together?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we all three open it, like we take turns opening up our package on stream.
Wait, what?
Last time I did that, I had like a quote.
Did I understand what you offered there?
Last time we did that.
Make sure.
Last time we did this, Sexy Time got banned for 2 hours. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I mean, you just gotta X tag it. That's all.
That's true. We forgot to X tag. We were mature tagged. We weren't X tagged. So.
Right, but even then, I think it would have been.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the topic at hand.
Love.
I want to talk about the 5 love languages, and Gilly P wants to talk about the 5 hate languages, but we'll save that for another time. No, but actually, it was really insightful, actually, and that's making me ponder things and stuff. But all right, so
ponderous, man.
That's ponderous. Do you have that? Do you have that queued up, man? Well, we can't do that. We're not mature. Do you have mature ready yet? I've been waiting for that one, man.
With you guys,
you know what? I just literally refound it, so
okay.
It'll be
hurry up! I'm waiting. I've been waiting. Oh, he's giving me the death stare. What is that? You're on Mars already? I thought you had to go to the moon first.
Can you see the? This is my homestead at the back. So.
Is it waiting for you, or are you there?
No, here it is. See, there it is. I got my whole countryside.
But I thought you were going to the moon. You skipped the moon.
Well, I'm just messing around. I don't know.
Is the moon made of cheese?
The chat is demanding
No.
we show the packages now and go X tag.
We're going to show our
X tag for sure.
X tag.
Is Juliana? Okay, whatever. It's all good.
He's like, whoops! I'm going to back away from that one.
No.
All right. So here we go. What? Oh wait, that should definitely be the stream title.
Opening packages.
Checking out each other's packages.
Checking out each other's packages.
That is a good one.
That is a good one. That is really good.
Oh my gosh.
Finally,
all right. So 5 love languages. We got verbal, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical. So I just want to throw it out there. I want to find out what your love languages are, so I can start, tugging at your heartstrings a little more fine-tuned.
I haven't read the book.
I'll share mine first.
Okay, go for it.
I'll share mine first.
Okay, cool.
So I'm definitely a quality time. That is my primary language. I feel so loved when people spend time with me, and I think that's one of the reasons that live streaming works for me, because people come into my channel, and when someone just hangs out with me and spends time, it feels like love to me. It feels like they care, and it's just, I don't know. For me, that is that. Now, people will often speak multiple languages. You usually have like a primary and then like a secondary. Typically, obviously, that's a general, but it could be different for some people. That's why me and
Gil are here.
I would say my secondary would probably be acts of service. So like a lot of you guys have done things for me. I mean, Gil in the very, early days of my streaming was helping me work stuff out with like the technical aspects of my stream and animations and things. And I mean, that meant a lot to me because it was something he didn't have to do. He did it out of the kindness of his heart and his friendship. And that felt like love, right? Because he did something for me. So for me, definitely quality time and acts of service. Those are my love languages, hands down.
I'm so glad physical acts of love is not one of your love languages. And you were
Gilly
like,
P,
you better for me.
You better start being a little more physical with me. I'm not feeling so loved.
Once we check out each other's packages, we might have to change our tune, Gil. I don't know.
That's a good point. So what do you guys? What do you guys?
Just like Doomwave, I don't want to scare you guys.
No, right. Yeah, right.
He's on fire, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Gilly P, I'm putting you on the spot, man, because I'm smacking you down. You've been a little rebellious today. What are your love languages? Spill the beans.
You know what? I think if you're a streamer, if you love streaming, and if you do it because of what it actually returns to you and all the rest of it, I very much my love language, or one of my very strong love languages, happens to be time. Absolutely. And it's not. It doesn't. I'm kind of funny. I'm sorry, guys. I keep fading in and out because it's so bright here. My shoulder's gone. This one.
Squirrel.
That's crazy. It's so crazy how your desk actually goes with it when you do that.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't know. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can.
Gilly P, we got to upgrade you, man. You know what I'm going to send in my package to you? A green screen. You need a real green screen.
Yeah, I need something. I need
something. Well, we got that up here in Washington.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Whoa.
420, right? Is it 420? 420?
Yeah, it's much later than that. It's 903.
Oh, never mind.
No, that's cool.
Oh boy.
So I just realized that it's not even about quality time. It's just I like being around people. My preferred mode of work is in a team around people. It's about having the conversations. It's about being able to create a community and being part of a community. So for me, that's very much. And I think that I would take a guess that it would definitely be one of the strong love languages of most streamers who are here. So and then physical acts of love.
That would be your secondary.
Slide it in at the last second. Second physical.
That's what she said.
Is that your secondary? You think?
Hold on. It's that, and I think talking.
Verbal.
Definitely talking.
You like verbal praise, like so. If I say, Gil, I really like you, man. You did a good job. you know.
It's genuine, absolutely.
Yeah,
if it's
right.
just, for the sake, there's a lot of people I think nowadays that will say that just because it's expected or it's manipulative or whatever else. I mean, I remember someone who used to say to me all the time, like someone that I dated before obviously this relationship, and they were like, "Oh, you're so amazing, you're so cool," and then like would just go off and like everything else, and I was like, "Yeah, nah, fuck off." I was like,
X-Tag.
Mature.
We're getting closer to X. If we get to M, if we get to mature, we might just have to go packages. We might just have to go there.
Yeah. So communication's definitely high up there as well. But it's time and communication. I'd say they're probably equal.
Okay, BK.
My turn.
We're not letting you off the hook, man. What? Spill the beans.
But I have zero love. I have completely zero. I'm out of gas. No. Let's see.
We're out of gas.
But
we're gonna give you some gas then.
Right.
We're gonna give you some gas.
I am now. All right. So wait. Okay. Well, one thing I did like about the verbal there at the end, because I think a lot of the times it usually just ends up hurting them though, because I do like the verbal as well. I was just thinking because I was thinking it's boring because we're very similar. I think you nailed it with Gil, where it's like most streamers are gonna love that quality time. And the service, those two come hand to hand for me. Where, what would be, because when you were saying that, Gil, it was like crap. It's the exact same thing I was gonna say. Where like I love, it's not just the service or an active service; it's working together. And I guess that would be quality time. Is that more quality time than actually active service? Because they kind of go hand in hand. If both people are in the mode of giving a service to each other, this is not a euphemism, but if they're both trying to serve each other and be each other, like love each other that way, then that means that they are spending quality time together. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of goes hand in hand with that. So the two that I really resonate to are those two: is quality time and also, being a team. And that's why a lot of the times is I'm just trying to serve. Like with the game show, it's like, yeah, I actually really want to play the games that I play on the game show. But I'm actually saying, well, I'm going to be the one hosting it, so I can't. Stuff like that, where it's like that type of service is my usual love language, where it's that. And like, I think I actually lean closer to that for myself. For myself, when I give love, I do usually like acts of service. But when I want to receive love, I usually want quality time, because I don't need them to serve. I just need them to just spend time. So it's a little bit of those two back and forth, I think.
Well, that is part of the book. The theory is that you will express love in the language that you speak, that love is spoken to you, right? Like, so if you,
I'm saying the opposite, right? I'm saying it's a little bit different.
That you did. You contradicted the theory, but yeah, the theory goes that, so like if you tend to express your love through acts of service, then that would say, according to the theory, that your number one language would be acts of service, and so that when people do acts of service for you, you feel most loved. But I'm throwing a monkey wrench.
You are. I don't know. Do you know why? Because of pride. Because pride's tenet is, if it's good for me, it should be good for you is the same way. Or like it's kind of say, this is the right way to do it, is my way. So I would say that no, I'm trying to reject that theory. That if this is the right way, so then it should be the right way for you doing it for me as well. So I basically try to eliminate the idea that if this is the way I like to express love, then I should also expect the same type of love someone else. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, so like that's what I think that's why I probably try to break that theory. But I think naturally I would make sense. That makes perfect sense. Without trying to unlearn what you have learned, it makes perfect sense to actually go exactly with the love that you prefer giving. You'd want to receive the same love back. But I actually like quality time better than that, than actually them serving me as well.
I like warm hugs. Do you also like snowmen from Frozen?
What?
Olaf. That's Olaf.
Snowman. I know.
Yeah. She said, I like warm hugs. I have Olaf around here somewhere.
But I also do like the verbal. I'm very similar to Gil. I'm guessing most streamers are very similar because we have to talk when we're streaming too. So again, like, and I have that same principle where it's like, yeah, I like the genuine one. Top, but like I'm
gonna be back in a sec, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna try and fix this problem. Hang on.
No problem. But like the verbal, that like I do think that they're just like hurting themselves when they do that. Like you're looking at that darkness that Gil was talking about, where it's like the ingenuine one because they want to affect you or they want to appease that pride in somebody else to just get what they want, right? Like it's like just appease them with the happy words and then you can get whatever you want from them type of thing. Those type of verbal things, you know, because definitely that's possible with at different times for almost everybody. But like I say that usually they're hurting themselves with that, right? Like in the long term. So I try to not look at that too often.
Yeah. So the idea here is that if you're expressing love in the way that in the language that you understand,
okay.
but the person that you're with doesn't speak that language, they're not going to hear love from you. I mean, it would be as if I was having a conversation with you, you were speaking Japanese, and I was speaking, I don't know, German, assuming you don't know German. Burp. And and so then we're not really expressing anything to each other because we're not the implication is that you have to start to learn those differences between yourselves. If you're having trouble in a relationship, you have to realize, okay, I need to learn a new language here because I want my partner to feel loved, but I don't speak that language. So now I'm going to have to learn a new language so that they do feel loved.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense because
and then you understand each other better, right? Once you kind of unlock that key, it opens up opportunity then, right, to connect more deeply and in ways that are more impactful and meaningful to each other.
It's really profound because I was like, oh, I like the physical. The physical is going to be next on the list for me because it's physical and verbal are pretty much tied, but gifts are way low on mine.
Right.
And so like I could see now
I won't send you any more silver. I'll stop that.
No. But no, like again, like
no more gifts for you.
You were talking about it. We have a relationship. We're in this together, you bastard. No, I mean, no. You can
smelly pirate.
You can help me by getting me better at that language because that's what like again, it's like of what you fear. If you do it, the death of the fear is certain. Where it's like if I'm scared of understanding that language, but if I go into it, it'll actually be okay. Because like one thing that really caused problems with my family is that like I really have low on that gifts and some people are really high on that where it's like they really want you to be excited every time you give them a gift or they give me a gift and there's that big pressure dynamic and I always hated that. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm happy with just being around you, friends and family, and I'm cool with talking and with all that stuff. But then people get really into the gifts, and I'm like, well, I don't. That is the language that really makes zero sense to me. But now you're right. We should also. That's one way where it's like, you should understand. If you think of it as that theory, it makes sense that I have to get better at understanding that that's their love language. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi, I was sitting here for 10 minutes. I was sitting here for 5 minutes going, oh yeah, I forgot to turn on my camera. That's better. I'm not
you were here.
In and out.
You were actually here.
Yeah, I was here.
Oh, he looks like he had some goldfish while he was on break too.
No, well, yeah. Shh, don't shame me, bro. Don't shame me.
We're hazing. It's hazing.
Haze me, bro.
All right. Well, you guys have any other thoughts on that? I just kind of want to. I mean, we talked a lot about a lot. I don't want to take too much more time on the top. I want to give you guys equal time because quality time is important, right? So
and that's the show, everyone.
Yeah, right. All right. You know what? Yeah, you know what? Let's forget that. We don't need to hear what you guys had to say. All right, everybody. I'm gonna just go ahead and close it out here.
Which is this love language? Oh, this is the hate language. We're going to hate language. I got it. We're in hate language now. Okay.
No. Actually,
I got it.
All right. You want to know the truth? I have to pee. That's why I want to rotate.
Let's go. Yeah. The bottoms.
So I'm ready to say that's
Thank you,
it.
Coin Captain. I love you too because the bottoms really don't appreciate it when the top has to pee. We don't like that at all. Let's go to break.
And it trickles down. It trickles down.
Coin Captain, my biggest love language is platinum, then gold, and silver. Just to let you know.
So gifts. I got it.
Gifts. We were just talking about that.
Well, then the sending our packages to each other should be quite the surprise gift for you.
Gifts or gifts?
Yep.
Right.
Giving of gifts.
Giving of gifts.
Yeah. So like when I send out my silver all over Dlive, people love it if their love language is gifts. But well, you know what? Actually, all right. One more thought before I take the break. So I do think that this actually ties in with live streaming, right? Because there's a lot of different reasons why people watch a stream, for some people, they're connecting, through the verbal realm. Some people, maybe it is the giveaways or the gifts, right? Some people, maybe they just want to spend time because they're like, this person's cool and I want to spend time with them. Maybe it is an act of service. Maybe that streamer is providing them a service. Maybe they're teaching them something, or I don't know. I think this actually, it's not just relationships we're talking about. I think this actually has a lot of impact in just about all aspects of life.
Get this man some goldfish. That was very profound, thinking of it in the streamer of that point. I love that. My question after that, though, is how does physical touch come into play with streaming?
That would be on for that you have to go to OnlyFans.
Okay, just want to make sure. Just checking. Just checking. I mean,
again with the OnlyFans. Seriously.
But how do you get?
I don't know what
you can't do it. I'm actually okay. Well, I'm a little. This is still. It's not mature because we're not going to say anything that's not like you can just look up and like know that technology's out there. But like we did talk about this a lot in Sexy Time, where it's like there are using technology so that you connect through Bluetooth, or you give a Bluetooth code just like a stream, and something moves on over here that can physical touch, that I can actually say, I could probably like shake your hand with a device over here if we connect through a Bluetooth link type of thing. That might be the future of streaming, Coin Captain. The physical touch streaming, no OnlyFans, nothing mature tagged, nothing crazy, but maybe they might introduce that sometime where I could do this with my controller. And I could do this, and all of a sudden we're actually, physically doing something.
And scary.
Well,
actually, that is. I mean, that.
If it's love,
I don't know.
Love, it shouldn't be scared. Do the thing.
It does make me nervous. If
it
you
does
could do something physically in my environment.
Yeah.
Right. Like. I mean, if it's consensual, it's different, of course.
Of course, it has to be consensual. No, you have to have the code. Yeah, you have to like input a code.
Yeah.
So like you would actually say before you can do anything over here physical, we have to agree on the code where we meet, and then we both put in the code before it activates. You know what I mean? Like. So.
Yeah. Oh, look at Julaine. She's giving us some verbal love. Verbal love. All you guys are fun. That's verbal love right there. Thank you so much, Julaine.
Physically touching the coins is Suki's
love
beautiful. Language.
Oh, Suki, you say
I don't know if that's a euphemism or not. I'm scared to ask
that. But no, actually, that might be a fair point, right? Because I did say I send out stuff to people. And so that does fall under gifts, but it is a tactile thing, right? Once you receive whatever I've sent, you are touching something, right? So maybe that's
combination
there may be some
of
insight
gift
there.
And physical.
So for some reason, my mind went to where is Coin Captain rubbing those coins before he sends them to you?
Oh my gosh!
We better take a break, guys. Pheromones.
Yes, I think we better.
What? Yeah, let's go. We're gonna take a break. We'll have a new top. We'll release the Kraken in the toilet, and we'll be back soon.
Well, again,
you
coins.
Go, coin. Sorry, you're the top, Coin Captain. You want to say final words?
No, I think we should keep going.
Okay, Coin Captain.
Coin Captain,
you can't top from the bottom there, Gil.
That's right.
That's not how this works. But it's I don't know. It's interesting because I have a kid right behind my green screen that is distracting me. Let's take a break, guys.
Really?
Between having a pee and having a kid.
Is that a euphemism?
No.
It was a great topic. I love you guys.
No,
I love you guys in all 5 ways.
It's really
except for
insightful,
physical.
though. I want to keep thinking about this.
I love you guys in all 5 ways. Maybe physical the lowest, but I love you guys. Let's take a break. See you soon, guys.
Only make hapla, we don't wanna go war. So only make hapla, we don't wanna go. Yo.
Ay, que cumple. La que ya la que me decía la artista que mira hapla y matarante.
Only make hapla, we don't wanna go war.
Took the highs with the lows. Now I'm living my life and I'm doing just fine. Had a moment where I didn't know. Now I'm taking my time and I'm doing just fine. Behind these doors, I can be such a mess now. Yeah, yeah. Oh, forgive me for whatever I'm getting stressed out. Yeah, yeah, I know I got my problems, but I don't see what's wrong with it. 'Cause I'm taking my time, yeah, I ain't perfect. But tell me that I'm crazy, that won't even faze me. 'Cause I'm taking my time, yeah, I ain't perfect. Behind these doors, I can be such a mess now. Yeah, yeah. Forgive me for whatever I'm getting stressed out. Yeah, yeah, I know I got my problems, but I don't see what's wrong with it. 'Cause I'm taking my time, yeah, I ain't perfect. But tell me that I'm crazy, that won't even faze me. 'Cause I'm taking my time, yeah, I ain't perfect.
We're back. Guess who's on top now? You're in Japan, baby. You're all in big, big trouble. I love you guys. I love you again in almost 5 ways. Almost 5
I
languages.
love you. Or if just the last one, stay away from me. I love you, BK, just not in that way.
Hugs? I want a hug? I actually
I
enjoy
like warm
hugs.
hugs.
I actually really, the physical is not too low. I think it's tied with my verbal. Verbal and physical, it's hard for me to choose sometimes. But the physical, I like warm hugs. I do. Probably in Seattle, the hugging in the rain, you got an umbrella. It's perfect, man. Right, Coin? You know what I'm talking about. I'm from Seattle.
Absolutely. It's been really nice weather here, actually, but it just turned. We had a beautiful week, sun, 70s, and now it's like back down into the upper 50s and like gray. No rain yet, but gray.
It's the rainy season here in Japan, so it's about to get warm. It was getting warm a little bit, and then all of a sudden the storms are coming, and then it'll be a little wet and a little chilly again, but then it'll pick up soon here. I can't wait to get back to the warm weather, perfect walking weather in the spring. I'm gonna look forward to that, and I know that's really good for Seattle too, around Green Lake and everything. I used to go there all the time.
Yeah.
So, Gil, is it getting colder over there? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Rob Mac, thank you so
Oh,
much.
Rob
for
Mac.
the
Hey,
diamond.
Rob Mac.
Appreciate that.
Good day.
Thank you.
Good day to
How
you.
you doing, Rob? It's been a while. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it is getting cold. It's starting to get quite chilly. That's why I wore the other shirt, but the other shirt kept phasing me out. So I'm a little bit more solid here now, which is good. And it's all good.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I mean, one of my favorite streamers when I started watching streamers for the first time is a guy from Australia. His name is Ziggy D. And
Ziggy D?
He was a Twitch streamer though, but he was Path of Exile is with his game because that was my favorite game.
My.
And so like,
well,
he'd always start with "G'day," and I'm like, oh, it's beautiful.
G'day.
I'm Ziggy
How's
D.
a brew, mate? You want to stream from the Barbie?
Ziggy D sounds a lot like Gilly P. Is that like an alt?
Is my alter ego?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They both wear glasses. They're both from Australia. Confirmed.
It was Ziggy D and the Spiders from Mars.
Isn't Ziggy the
Ziggy played guitar?
Ziggy was that little remote that what's his name had in Quantum Leap.
No, Ziggy was the technician that he would always talk to.
I know, but he called.
Wasn't Ziggy the computer?
I think it was the
Gushy
remote,
was
right?
the guy.
The remote.
And Ziggy was the computer.
The computer, right? The remote. Yeah. He's like,
well.
Ziggy, come on, Ziggy, and like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we flexed our
Gushy was the name of. Anyway,
we flexed our pop culture muscles enough. Today's BK Johnson topic is not about pop culture yet. We might get there. We probably will, but it is about culture. So the main topic coming at you from Japan is things that surprised you when you're visiting other countries or other cultures. If you want to, even if you're saying I haven't been to many other countries or anything like that. If you ever walked to a different culture or anything like that, what are some of the things that you noticed that really surprised you? So I didn't think it that well for me. So I basically asked my wife on the break as well for some from when she came to America as well. So it's kind of coming at you from Japan where she went to America and she lived there with me for about a decade. Some interesting things that she said was garbage disposals. I have to admit, I don't think I've seen maybe one garbage disposal here in the 20 houses or so plus that I visited. So garbage disposals is not a common thing. In fact, most of them don't. Another common thing that's not inside is dryers for laundry. You'll notice that there's always, no matter where you go, even in the coldest regions, there's a lot of clothes hang out to dry all the time. So they all have like washers in there, but no dryers. Another thing on dryers that she mentioned was that when she stayed in America with her first host family, he was shocked to see them wash shoes. I might have mentioned this before. He was in Seattle, and they were washing shoes in the washing machine. And she said, "What the heck? That doesn't happen in Japan." And she asked me, and I said, "Oh yeah, my family doesn't do that either." But then I think it was my stream. I asked my chat, and a lot of people wash shoes in the dryer. Is that true for you too? Just a quick side question. Do you wash shoes in the dryer?
No.
No. Okay, because
it's strange.
It's a thing, man. It's a thing. I hear. So yeah, that was some of the things coming at you from Japanese ladies who I love. Oh wait, there's another one. Hang on. I have another Japanese lady who I love as a friend. Let's see. What did she say? She said, American teenagers' fashions are quite mature for their age. That was one thing. Another thing that she said was, this is from another friend in Japan, that, let's see, bus drivers, when she took the bus, talked a lot and like would sometimes sing or whistle to themselves. And she said in Japan, that would never happen. And so they're supposed to focus on driving. You do the regular greeting, but then, I'm focusing on driving and stuff. It's just like, I was surprised at how much effort the bus drivers would take to be cordial, which she liked in some ways, but also was saying, wow, that's interesting. And she also said, as a positive, she said that she liked that America had a lot of services for handicapped people, where in Japan they kind of don't show it as well. Like she's like, no matter where I went, there's, you have a disability? Here's a ramp. Here's this. Here's that. Here, we have some things to help you. Where in Japan, she says, unfortunately, we don't have that as widespread in America, and she noticed it considerably in America. So those were some differences coming from Japan to America. I'm going to come up with my own as well when I come here. But first, let's go to the two bottoms. All right, Coin Captain, you were the top. I'm going to hit you first. What are some of the things that shocked you? Oh, Fallen Angel. FBI.
Fallen. Thank you.
Fallen Angel. Wow, look at that.
Got to flush
Thank you,
more
Fallen.
silver now.
She's on to you, Coin Captain. You've been summoned. FBI.
Every time I'm ready to rush to my bathroom and flush all the oregano out of the house.
The oregano.
Excuse me while I eat pizza from the top. I'm the top. I can do whatever I want. Excuse me.
Oh, dude, is that Japanese pizza? There you go. I'm surprised by the crappy size of pizza.
The crappy size.
It's a margarita pizza.
That actually looks really decent.
Did you buy that, or did you have it delivered, or did you make it yourself?
Oh, we bought it. My wife picked it up.
You should have gotten KFC, man.
It's not Christmas.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Do they only open up on Christmas? I mean,
No,
there's
but
gotta be...
I don't particularly love KFC, and Christmas time is when you're supposed to do it.
I know. Things that I've spent a lot of time traveling. I'm all right, let me think about this for a minute. The very, very, very first thing that came to my mind was when I went to Morocco. It's the only time I've ever been on the African continent, and it was only for one afternoon. I didn't even, it was like I took the ferry across the Strait of Gibraltar from Spain to Morocco in the morning, spent the whole afternoon in Tangier, and then we took the ferry back to Spain that evening. So not a lot of experience, but and this is probably something that isn't unique to Morocco, but it's probably unique to tourist destinations around the world that maybe economically are depressed, I guess. Was as soon as we got off of the boat, just hordes of street hawkers, vendors, most of which were children, just rush up to you and, hey, would you want to buy this? You want to buy it? I got this, buy this, and they are extremely pushy about it, to the point we had one kid who followed us literally for 4 blocks, following along, would not take no for an answer. And it got uncomfortable. It got really uncomfortable. I don't know if that's a cultural thing for Morocco. I don't think that's unique to that. I would suspect that probably exists in other countries where, the tourists bring money and the local economy is depressed. But that was really a shocker to me, because pretty much everywhere else I've traveled, I felt kind of like, okay, this is semi-normal and I can navigate. But that really, it unnerved me that they would follow me and they wouldn't take no. Like
how many people were actually doing it? Like
a dozen. I mean, the ones that followed me like 4 blocks, there was only like I think it was maybe 2 kids or something, and they were kids, so I wasn't as concerned. But I mean, even the adults would kind of get really pushy. But and then it made me wonder, like, well, where do these kids not go to school? Like, are they? I don't know. I have way more questions than I have answers about this particular subject, but that was something that really took me by surprise. Yeah, because I had never experienced that before.
That was in Morocco, you said.
Yeah.
How long,
and I see Rob Max says it happens in India. I've heard that. I've heard it happens in India as well.
It happens in any third world country where people are hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ultimately, Australians go to Bali, and Bali's a bit of a third world country. And I remember being there, and this one kid he wanted to sell us wallets, like leather wallets. Mm-hmm. And literally I said, everything you've got for $10, right? And he stayed with us for 2.5 hours. And at the end of it, he was like, okay. And he sold everything he gave. So I gave wallets to every person I knew for the next 2 years. I felt terrible about it. But I was just like, he just annoyed the crap out of us to the point. And when he realized we weren't going to budge, he was like, okay. And it also, it actually showed me they must be getting this for nothing. What they're selling.
Yeah, so it's not so much of a culture thing. It's more of a economical thing, really, and life,
absolutely.
Survival.
You're going to follow someone if you don't get paid, and you're going to go hungry that night. Absolutely.
CoinCam, I have a question. Since you were talking about that, I know you've traveled a lot, but what's the longest you've lived in another country? Have you lived outside of America before?
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, so I rented an apartment in Berlin, Germany for 1 month. It might have been a few days over a month. That was a pretty awesome experience. I fell in love with the city of Berlin.
Nice.
It's my favorite city that I've ever traveled to,
Oh wow.
worldwide.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite place in the world. My favorite place in the world is in Florida, but
Disney World. Yeah. We know.
yes, no, actually no. It's the Ponce Inlet Lighthouse. And the beach that surrounds the lighthouse there. It's just a beautiful area. There's a nice restaurant, the lighthouse, the beach, and it's the sun, and it's not super crowded, and you can go out on the jetty where the rocks are and stuff. It's such a, I don't know. I feel a connection to, like a soul level connection to that place for some reason.
So in Berlin, what were the things that actually shocked you in the German culture that you thought were interesting?
I don't, shocked is really not a good word. I really fell in love with German culture, but that might have been a little bit artificial, for a few reasons. I have German descent. My grandmother immigrated from Switzerland, and my great grandparents came over directly from Germany, and so I was raised with a lot of German culture already. And so when I was in high school, I took German for all 4 years. And I was an exchange student twice, short-term exchange. The first time it was 3 weeks, and the second time it was 5 weeks. Both, so it was it was between my freshman and sophomore year, and then again between my junior and senior year. And so I stayed, moved in with a family, went to a German school for a few weeks, and yeah, I really fell in love with the German language and German culture, and so I identified with it. So when I went to Berlin as an adult, I already kind of felt a connection there. But
what are some interesting differences though? Because I'm a total, I don't know anything about the German culture that much.
Well, so I don't know. The first thing I want to say with regard to Berlin. You have to keep in mind it was a divided city for many years, right? You had East Berlin, West Berlin, and the wall straight down the middle of the city. And it was like, one night it was a city of people, a culture that was unique to that area. And then overnight, a wall comes up and, families are divided. And of course, Russia's influence, for East Berlin, you had the communist influence, and then you still had the Western influence, capitalism. And over a number of decades, thank you, Blubber Bob, for the lemon. Appreciate that.
Hey, Blubber Bob, how you doing, man?
Over a series of decades, you could actually start to see the impact that the different philosophies or political philosophies or what value systems had on everything, because the wall is down today, but if you go there, even now, many years later, you can look at both sides and you can see it in the architecture. Everything on the East German side is very, box, cookie cutter. Everything looks the same. It's very gray. There's not a lot of color now. Now that they've been combined, that's starting to change, but especially if you go up in what's called the Fernsehturm, it's the TV tower there, you can look at all around the city and you can clearly see where the divide once was because of the differences in the building structure and the way that everything is laid out. It was very, very regimented on the eastern side, and you had capitalism flourish where there was buildings were different shapes, lots of colors, the streets weren't laid out perfectly.
That's crazy.
And it also played out. And this is the good. So that I would say, in general, that was a bad thing, right? Because you had families that were separated, and it was a scar on the land.
Well, when you see that though, that's where the shock comes from. Someone who doesn't know what's going on, you'll say, "What is going on here?" Right.
But the thing that
Suki,
wow, three ice creams and 3 lemons.
One for each.
Thanks,
Hey,
Suki. Appreciate
we got 3 gelatos. We got 3 lemon gelatos, guys. You know, when Gil P was a little girl. Anyway, Coin Kevin, yes. What about?
You're lucky I don't have to say it 3 times.
The other thing that was, and this is a good aspect of that. So you separate a culture that was unique, or homogenous, I guess. Well, homogenous isn't the right word, but you have a culture of people, right? And then you separate them for decades, and then you give them different philosophies, different education, different all of that influence from the different perspectives of communism and capitalism. And then a few decades later, you smash them back together. And the result of that in Berlin was that the arts came alive in all of their expressions, painting, music, books, sculpture. It was
interesting.
All drama, like all the, theater, everything, every expression of the arts that exists is so alive in Berlin. And
is that unique to Berlin though as well, or is it? Did it resonate to all over Germany? Like, because I'm looking for like culture, country stuff too, the country differences, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not German. I don't live in that culture, so I'm an ignorant American trying to make an observation about another culture. So let me just say, I might have this totally wrong, but from the outside looking in, it would appear to me that it overall has been a very negative thing for the country, right? Because even though the country is reunified, there are some deep divides politically. I mean, it's similar to kind of what's going on in America right now, right? Yep. But for different reasons. And I think Germans are still dealing with that, the deep rooted
you went heavy. I was looking for things like, washing shoes in the laundry machine, and now you.
But let me at least finish my thought on the arts. The arts were alive, and that, to me, that was fascinating because you have all these different expressions coming from all different angles and perspectives, and it was so fun and so. I mean, there was no end to human experience in that city because of that unique thing that happened there. And
you really make me want to go to Berlin, man.
Yeah, no, I love Berlin. Now, I wouldn't. Let me say this though. And this again, outside looking in, I'm an American. I haven't been there in a decade, and a lot of the news
exactly.
A lot of the news that I read, it's a lot of the European cities right now are struggling. I mean, there's been massive immigration from outside of Europe into Europe, and those now you have that culture coming in and kind of clashing with the existing culture, and I know that's caused a lot of upheaval, I guess is the right way to say it. And then you add in all the COVID stuff. I think Europe has been a lot more restrictive with COVID than even America has. So I don't know what Berlin is like today. That was the Berlin 10 years ago, but I loved it there. And it was just, there was a period of time where I debated actually moving there and living there full time. It never happened, but I thought about it.
Well, you're gonna make me want to visit there, but I know it's a difference, and I know it's a difficult question sometimes because I know it's basically asking you to say how ignorant you are of another culture sometimes before you walk into it. I mean, hey, Suki was talking about again with the shoes, but it's if you've seen the movie, was it Gung Ho? I think it's with isn't it Michael Keaton? Isn't that it? Or am I thinking Mr. Baseball? Maybe I'm thinking Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck. But anyway,
Gil's the movie guy. You have to
exactly
ask him.
with the Japanese culture where it's about you take your shoes off before you enter and stuff. So I know if you're ignorant of that, you'd say, well, I'm shocked by it, but and again, there's different times and different places where you can leave it on, but most of the time it's off. So. In fun little side fact of Japan, when they first introduced the first trains and subways and stuff, because they use those like crazy over here now, but when they first made them, everybody they had to one of the biggest problems was everyone was taking their shoes off before they went in, and they're like, no, keep your shoes on here, guys, because they're going into in the train, but they're so used to when you go into a place like that, you take off your shoes and don't trudge that in there, so.
That's actually a difference I noticed as well, especially between Europe and America. Like trains are a much bigger thing in Europe than they are in the United States.
Japan too. All right, Gil.
Yeah.
where have you been, and what shocked or interested you, or you thought was different?
I got to take a short break. I think I've got a kid here.
How about we take it? Oh, well,
no, just me.
Why don't we take a break then, and then we'll come back because to be honest with you, I want to hear your feedback on it. So.
Oh, okay. I just need like 60 seconds.
That's all right.
Well, just shoot the breeze with BK for a second. I'll be right back. Hang on. Okay, you don't want to. You want to take a real break.
No, it's go for it.
He wants to take a real
break. Go take care of your kid, man. Go take care of your kid.
Okay.
Is it your kid or are you doing the other thing?
It's kid.
I don't know. I have to investigate.
Go check the kid. Go check the kid.
It might be the FBI knocking my door down. I'm not sure.
I was gonna say these guys are trying to top from the bottom yet again. It's my choice.
Look at that. Now you feel my pain
okay.
from earlier.
It's okay. We'll go on a little break, guys. 1 second. Go, Coin. Go get your kid. We'll be right back. Do you really want to go on the BRB stream? I'm going now. See you soon. Why, hello there.
I would.
Your kid. Your kid's okay.
What about your wood?
I would.
I would.
You're okay, right, Coin? You're okay.
It's like
it's
me.
All,
I'm great.
Tails win Eagles. It all win Eagles.
Coin Captain was just saying he'd kill everyone in the chat room. I said I would.
No,
It was my CIA handler. I'm like, I'm undercover right
Gil,
now.
you
It's
translated
not a good time.
Kill
My
from,
job.
he was talking about hugging, not killing. It was hug.
Oh, hug everyone. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
love
Man,
and hate
blow
language.
the wax out of your ears, Gilly P.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
My.
Yeah, Coin, everything's okay, right? You know, the eagle has landed. I was talking about it before with like when we were starting. I'm like, is the eagle landed? We need these. Is everything okay? Coin cap.
Tails for eagles, man.
Tails
for
when eagles. We're okay. Okay, there. We have the code. We got it. Oh, my sister's in here. Well, hello there, sis. Hi.
Yes,
Ara.
I saw. I was like, is that who I think it is? It's BK's sister.
He's gonna have
Wait.
to.
Your R.A. Harold is your sister?
He's the fascinating. You have the book.
I believe I have a
it's
book
on
with
the-
that person's name on
You
it.
have the book. It's on there, right? Coin cap. You have my book, right?
I do have the book. Yes, it's. Oh, look at that! It does. It says R.A. Harold right at the bottom. Wow, I have an author in the chat. This is great. Forget that BK guy.
Yeah.
R.A., will you autograph this for me?
I just play one on TV. She's the real author.
On Dlive.
I did not even put that together.
Great skills.
I did not even put that together. Wow.
Yeah,
I told you everything. Stuff goes way over my head, man.
I could not have done it without her, so she's the real author. If you got. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, she's the one who sent it to you, didn't she? No, she didn't. No, that was
I
Gotta Pain.
bought it on
That
Amazon.
was Gotta Pain, the other guy in Washington.
Yeah.
She sent books to Gotta Pain, so this is Coin Cap.
She sent books to God. Why did Gotta Pain get a book?
Because he paid for
That's what I
them.
want to know.
Because he paid
Ice
for them.
Cremo.
As soon as people like me enough, which is going to take a couple more years, I was talking to Gotta Pain about it, and we were offering $20 for an autograph version. So me and my sister autographed it and sent it to Gotta Pain. So he said, I want that. I said, okay, well there you go, $20. So someday it'll be more than one. But yeah. So if you're interested in the book, just go to bkjohnson.com. Very simple. You'll see it right there. So thank you. Thanks, sis.
It sounds like an OnlyFans website, bksjohnson.com. It's like
I've used that one already.
I've watched you toil and trouble on Google Trends long enough that I know that sex sells, and yes, we might as well go that way. It might be in BK Johnson's OnlyFans. You might want to check it out, guys. You might be pleasantly surprised. Go for it. Anyway, Gil, we were going to talk about you in the topic. The topic was
Booth with Johnson.
There was a poll with over 1,000 Japanese ladies in their ages 20 to 29. They were asked.
Wait, the answer's 80%.
Is this in 1974?
It was in the 1980s. 1,000 Japanese women, ages 20 to 29. 80% was the question was, it was about traveling to different countries or cultures, specifically countries if possible, and what are some of the things that shocked you or surprised you or interested you in the differences of the culture or country? Thank you, Rob Mack. Oh!
Thank you, Rob Mack and Suki.
When Gil was a little girl, it's time for him to talk now. Let's go.
Yes, it is, isn't
countries, yes. Yes, countries.
No, it's okay. It's all good. So look, I consider myself incredibly lucky. BK, seriously.
I knew you noticed. I'm like, I was actually going to eat as well, but if I'm going to eat during coin cap,
you can eat. I just like how you just went. You think I was gonna know? I'm like, of course I'm gonna know.
I'm gonna eat.
Dude, I'm all about the details, man.
Hey, pop these puppies over here.
Thank you, Coin Cam, for the lemons and ice cream. That's a lemon gelato where I come from. Wait. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, sorry. Go, Gil.
It's an ice cremo.
What can I say?
Take it easy when you talk to me, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. So look, I consider myself incredibly lucky because my father was an importer, so he used to do business overseas. And as I got older, probably from around the age of 12, he used to take me on his business trips, and I got to go and see the world.
Wow.
And I really came home with a real understanding about how lucky I was to live in Australia. So it takes a lot for me to kind of really get thrown by stuff that I've seen elsewhere. I guess in some ways I kind of saw it firsthand, but the two things that I remember is being 16 years old, going on a trip to Italy, and on the way back we went to Bangkok, and we were walking down the street, and there was a child, probably about 6 or 7, doubled over in a doorway, passed out completely, emaciated, with a cup where there was like coins. So he was obviously like begging for money, and he, like, in the heat, he was, I don't know if he was dead or alive or passed out or what. And that always stuck with me about how lucky I was to be in a place where I never needed to go without a meal or shelter, or I had to go out and beg people for money to survive. So that one really, I've carried that since actually experiencing that, and there are times where I'm like, I hope that guy's okay. Like I don't know what was actually going on, but it was pretty scary. So that's definitely one of them. In Japan, one of the things that I wasn't prepared for is the fact that, and we've spoken about this before on stream, is that unfortunately in Japan, it's very insular. So if you're an outsider, they'll let you know. There's no qualms of letting you know that you're an outsider. And the term in Japanese is called gaijin, which basically translates to outsider, and it's almost like a slur. And I made a joke out of it initially.
You
but
spend most of your time in Tokyo and stuff? Is that where you spend most of your time?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So for me, like, once I realized how the game worked, I kind of used it to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I used, there were quite a few expats. I was working there, and people would come over and they'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like, people wouldn't talk to me, they wouldn't acknowledge me, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's because you're an outsider." And they're like, "Oh my god, that's so rude." I'm like, "You're missing." See, everyone wants me to shut up, so they all just give you.
Gil must be talking.
So.
When Gil was a little
either
girl,
that, or they want you to talk about when you were a little girl.
When I was a little girl, but yeah, literally, like, I turned it into a thing. I'm like, over here, if you're an outsider in Japan, you're like a superhero. People are like, what? I go, I've got superpowers. I got like Gaijin Smash. And they're like, what's that about? And I'm like, watch it. So I remember running for a train, like the last train out of Tokyo, because we were going somewhere. And like, I didn't buy a ticket, which is unheard of, right? You do not travel without a ticket in Japan. It's like cardinal sin.
Mm-hmm.
No ticket, they're going to throw you out. But like the older gentleman whose job it was to check the tickets and make sure everyone pays, he started running after me, and then he realized that I wasn't Japanese, and he just went and let me go. And it was like, Gaijin Smash, baby, Gaijin Smash. And then another one that I used to love using is what I call Gaijin Force Field. So if you get on the train, you are crushed with the people that are there. Unless you're a Gaijin, then everyone seems to, there's like a bubble around you because no one wants to touch you because, you're. So I remember one early morning when I jumped on the train to go to work, there was an elderly lady who actually passed out on the train. She was being crushed. So I stepped next to her. Everyone went, whoosh, and then we were able to get her off and get her some help. And then like, I just moved back to where I was, and the bubble disappeared. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. So that kind of threw me a little bit. But then again, the flip side of it in Tokyo is that, teenagers love to talk to you if you can. They want to practice their English and want to learn about countries outside,
outside
of Japan.
What year was this?
Probably 2000 and. Oh no, it was 97, 98.
97, 98. Okay, yeah.
So I was there, and ultimately the job that I was doing for a film company over there, it just maybe Gills just smells, maybe I do just smell. That's exactly it. But it seems that everyone smells funny over there.
I'm the smelly one here.
That's true. At least you have the guts
respect
to
is
admit
everything. Like it is on such a high level over there that if you, and someone was kind of
interesting thing is, like, your story lines up with basically my first experience going there. The reason I asked for that year is also one I'm here now, and it's a little bit it's getting better and better, right? But I think that the first time I went to Japan, I think, was 2003, maybe 2002,
right.
Something like that. And I went with a friend from high school who happens to be a tall. He looked a little like Quincaptain, actually. He kind of does look like Quincaptain. But anyway, I was so jealous because they treat him so well and different from me, and they're like, "Oh, you should know better because you're Japanese, right? Or you're Asian at least, and you know what I mean?" Like, I think they all thought I was Japanese, of course, because you mentioned it before, Coin. You're like homogeneous was what you were talking about before, and Japan has always been known as one of the most homogeneous places for quite some time, or as long as they can get it going, right? They're definitely easing more and more away from that. I always joke now, ever since like I moved here, I tried to move here about 11 years ago, and I was thinking, like, I was making jokes that Japan's always like 20 or 30 years behind like American culture, where they they're going to copy American culture, but it's like 20 or 30 years ago or 40 years ago or something like that, you know. And so I think they're getting closer and closer from your point from Gil's. It's still here because they're very homogeneous and like that, but I think they're getting more and more less obvious, at least less exaggerated as that, Gil. But in 2003, definitely I felt that because I was jealous. I was like, man, I wish I looked like CoinCap. I do that today as well. But in Japan, I wish I looked like someone like CoinCap, so they'd all be like, oh, Gaijin, and they'd always want to like, you're right, like they treat you differently, and it's not in a negative way usually. It's also sometimes can be, obviously, but in many ways it's actually, I'll respect the differences because I don't know what the heck's going on with you. Like, I don't know. I know Japanese culture and I know that, but around you, I don't know what might be bad or good. So I like that story. I didn't know. Wait, your father was an importer. I didn't know your dad was Art Vandelay.
Yeah.
You never told me that.
No, it was Art Vandelay. Absolutely, that's exactly what he did.
I doxed you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to dox you. I'm sorry.
I know.
It's not Art
Just
Vandelay. It was.
Well, actually, I'm going to ask you something else.
Yes,
because
right.
I don't know if this is true or not, but this was something that I also walked away from Japan. I'm going to keep this. We probably should mature tagger for this, but so I had people that I obviously knew in Japan when, you know, again, expats from Australia, America, and all the rest of it. And they used to talk about they would get propositioned on trains by teenagers, usually teenage girls. And I'm like, that never happened to me. So the story goes that some families can't support, let's say, can't support their daughters for to buy like expensive things that teenagers need to compete against other teenagers, and that they actually set up a room for these teenagers to host people, and they would be compensated for the hosting. So no, BK's going, no, I don't know anything about that. That's cool. I think this was like them just shining me on a bit. So I'm still trying to work out if that's true or not. So the idea was that the story came back a few times that some of my compatriots were propositioned on the train by teenagers who then would host them in their parents' homes. And one of the stories that I will never forget was at the end, the father came and thanked him for helping support his daughter and gave him some dim sum and some tea. And I thought to myself, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. I never heard wind of that. One interesting thing is, the reason I asked for Tokyo as well is that the place where I live on the West Coast, near in Kyushu, like one time I had to stop off in Tokyo because there was actually a typhoon. One time, coming back from America, there was some typhoon warnings on that side, but I could they could divert me to Tokyo, and so we went to Tokyo and stayed in a hotel while the typhoon passed through Japan, and it's been so long since I'd been to Tokyo because I used to be in Tokyo with my wife. That's where we were actually kind of dating before we got engaged and married and stuff. She went to school near Tokyo, in Tokyo really, because Tokyo's so big. But like I remember after living here on the West Coast for a while, I was like, holy crap. There was a culture shift there where it was so uptight and rigid compared. Like, you know, I was like, they don't feel, I couldn't feel the warmth. Oh, Blubber Bob. Thank you for the follow.
Blubber Bob wasn't following us? Get out of here.
That's it. Scram. No, that's awesome. Thanks, man.
There you go. See, Suki's saying that it happens more than you know, Gil. Recently
oh no.
Venvilia? Look, it wouldn't surprise me. I was just like, wow, okay, you know. They kept telling me this, and I'm like, I guess I wasn't beautiful enough to get proposition, but it was. I was just like, oh, okay, that's
well. You have us now, Gil, so it's all good.
Yeah, I know. I felt very left out.
Now, Blubber Bob, you could have just been waiting for your favorite number. Was your favorite number 129? I think I know how you roll. I love you, Blubber Bob. Thank you for the follow. We're getting closer to 200, guys. Closer and closer.
I can sniff it.
Well, I'm not that.
I can smell it.
That's yourself, but that's okay.
I can smell it. You got that? You have that?
Gil, can you check Discord for 1 second? I just want to before.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Do I need to check something on Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent you some pictures, man. He's hazing you.
Yeah, you talk about staying over high school and stuff. I didn't want to step on any toes because
No, it's cool.
Okay, good.
We can do it.
I just want to make sure because I wanted to make sure I wasn't. The reason I'm asking guys
all
is
good.
that I know you're next, and I didn't want to step on any topics that you want to talk about on the top.
No, it's fine.
So
cool.
basically, I wanted to ask about the difference between Australia and USA because those are the two countries you live in the longest, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
that's
what was the differences you'd see there?
guns and politics.
Oh,
Those are the two biggest, and Walmart. Sorry, Walmart's the third thing. Like the three things that I saw is, and not to be
there's
controversial,
no
but
WalMarts there.
there's nothing like Walmart in Australia. I always like, I guess, mail order as well. We're starting to get a lot more after the whole last year with the COVID-19 and Amazon coming to Australia in the last couple of years. But you would never buy something from mail order. Just why would you pay for shipping as such on top of something that you could go and buy in a store? When it comes to firearms, we had a very bad mass shooting in I think it was 2000, which ended up I guess the government within a number of months kind of went, okay, we've got too many guns in the community. And basically, if you weren't a farmer and you weren't, let's say, a sports person or something like that, they were all handed back and handed in. And I know that's become very controversial with my American friends who believe that we're not free and that we're all the rest of it. But one of the things that I experienced myself, I had two very quick stories. One was I was driving with a friend of mine back to Los Angeles on the 405, which happens to be this huge freeway. And I basically turned off the wrong place and ended up in a place called Rampart as opposed to where we were going, which was Westwood. And Rampart's not a very good neighborhood. And it was about 2:00 in the morning, and we thought people were throwing stuff at the cars, like throwing rocks and stuff. The next day, a friend of mine went, "Hey, Gil, you've got one of those stickers that looks like a bullet hole in your car. When did you put that on?" And I went, "What sticker?" Because this was in 2000, right? It was through range. And we went out and someone had shot at the car.
Wow.
So, that was, I was like, we had 2 bullet holes in the car and we were like, holy crap. Oh, sorry. It was 1996. Yes. The Port Arthur massacre. Yes. I mean, that was pretty shocking. So that was one incident. The other incident was I was driving and I cut someone off without realizing I cut him off. And the guy literally went into his glove compartment and pulled out a pistol and started waving at me. And I thought to myself, wow, those are two, that is one of the few things when I came back to Australia, I never missed. And with that said, I was a shooter. I was trained as a shooter in the States. At UCLA, I had to pick a sport. It was shooting. Most of the people I trained with were at the level of going into the Olympics. Yeah. So I was around this sort of stuff. And I was very fascinated by it.
So when you were in Australia earlier, there was a lot of guns, and then you went to America, and then by the time you came back, it was gone, type of thing? Is that what happened? Or?
Well, no, I was here when they did the buyback and stuff like that. Okay. I'm actually just really, I personally am really thankful that I live in a community where, there are, of course, firearms in every community, but it's limited. So what I mean by that, someone's having a bad day, I don't have to worry about them going in and picking something up and making like a fatal mistake for themselves or other people.
Well, it sounds like two extremes, right? Where it's like it's absolutely so crazy where it was that loose where you could just flash around guns like that, and then all of a sudden it goes to 0%, where it's completely not legal anymore, right? So the buyback and everything. So it was like the two extremes was the interesting thing. Did you what about when you went to America? You noticed even though there is guns there, what was the difference? Was it because again, were you in a place where they were legal or were they not?
No, I was in Los Angeles, totally legal. I lived in a co-op house with 16 people, and 15 of them had firearms, and one person didn't.
Wow.
Guess which one didn't?
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's right. like literally,
the governor.
The governor.
Literally, when I discovered that because we used to have a social event in the house. The house was run by a student body and all the rest of it. So one of the things they did was they said, we're going to go to a shooting range. So everyone pulled out their pistols, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't have one. And then I remember we had a house meeting, and I'm like, guys, you like, do you have these in your house, in your room? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, someone said, what are you thinking about? Because your face just changed. And I said, well, anytime you kind of want to, if I'm having an argument, I'm kind of let it go. If you need me to clean up your stuff because you can't do it, I'm kind of gonna say yes. And they're like, why? I go, because think about it. I mean, like, I don't want to piss you off. If you have a bad moment, like, lots of things can change where if you don't have access. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't reasons and purposes for it. I've spoken about it before. I used to do, I did some military service. I did, so I'm very familiar with the pros and cons. I just personally found that difference. And when family members would come over and we'd go into a store like a Walmart and they would see these things on the wall or you could buy ammunition, they freaked out because they had no exposure whatsoever to it. Yeah. So that was a huge, big difference.
I'm in the same boat with Japan and America because Japan's just like that, where they can't even do knives. So like, the knives and the guns, you can't do that. So
thank you for the lemon lady crochet.
Thank you, Karen. That's okay. So go ahead. You had some. Go ahead, Gil.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So that was definitely one of the big things. One of the big things that.
Now, we're not going to get into politics as politics. What I want to know is what's the. Can you keep it short? Because I don't want to. I hate politics. It's my only rule in my chat on my channel is let's keep the politics out of here, or at least to the very minimum where you can go ahead and try once. But it's like I'll give you the warning and we'll see how we go. But if you could make it not politics, and what would you say is the differences that you'd see in a nutshell, without getting into the nitty gritty of it, you know what I mean? What were you thinking when you said that?
Look, I just want to just quickly address something. I know the minute I said that about firearms, it was going to be like political. All I'm doing is giving. You asked me what the difference is for me. Yep. I'm not saying whether it's correct or not. Yep. I'm just saying it's my experience. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that it's like, that's cool. Personally, there's a time and place for everything, and that was one of the things that I noticed when it came to politics. Seemed to come into conversations a huge amount over there. People would ask instantly, like,
that's the difference.
I even get it. I got it recently where someone said the Democrats got to you, and I'm like, dude, I live in Australia. There's no Democrats here. Like, I'm like, so it was always like, what side are you on? What's this? What's that? So that was a huge. It was like, hey, what's your name? Where you from? What's your political?
I noticed the same in Japan. It's just interesting where it's like, because Japan's the same. The guns are completely outlawed. And my dad's a hunter. He goes and hunts deer a lot. So he's always out at the range practicing for that and stuff. And so like, and in Japan, the politics are so great. Like, I mean, like they don't get into it as much as in America. Like, you know what I mean? Like they don't make at least that's what I've experienced coming from America. So I did notice that difference too. What's it like in Australia? Like for politics, how does that actually affect Australians?
A lot of Australians are pretty laid back. It's like, if you happen to go for someone you don't agree, they go, you're a wanker, and just move on. Like it doesn't become a heated, it's like,
yeah,
whatever.
The difference is in Japan, they don't even say anything. They just go on. They're like, oh, okay, nice, thank you, bye. Yeah. It's like, they don't really, they don't.
Oh, you know what? That's another difference in the US that I never experienced before, is that everyone is polite. Everyone's polite.
Oh.
So you like I'd seen.
CoinCat, what's your problem? You're not what?
No, but I mean, at least where I was.
Are you saying I'm not? It's because I'm a pirate.
You're not American? Oh, okay.
Pirates aren't polite.
I got you. Okay. So what was your story, Gil? Sorry.
So my story is, I remember going to a bar with some friends, and this guy's trying to pick up this girl, and she didn't want anything with it. So she's like, "No, but thank you." So I was like, usually over here it's like, "No," and get away from me. It's always like everyone's like, "No, thank you." So nice. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. That's another difference that I know. Maybe it's because it's Los Angeles, and because at the time I was obviously in, in the kind of the Hollywood circles. It's like you don't want to be rude to anyone, because then the next Spielberg, you want to be able to work with them. So everything's like, oh yeah, it's all good, whatever. But I just remember my friend. I'm like, he was just trying his best to try and see if something would happen, and you could see she wanted nothing to do with it. But like, and she's like, no, but thank you. I was like, wow, that's it's awesome. Like a mixed message kind of thing. So that's kind of funny. But and I guess the last thing I was going to say is just the buying power. So you want to call it Walmart. I know that Fallen was saying, Big W here is kind of like Walmart. It's not. Walmart is The idea, your buying dollar goes a lot further in the US, and you have multiple options, which means that when it comes to service, when it comes to why you're going to spend dollars in one place as opposed to another, it's a completely different game in the US than it is here in Australia. So I could go into let's say an electronics store and say, can you tell me why I should buy this? And I've had people go, nah, I can't be bothered, either buy it or don't. And I'm like, all right, see you later. Where like, you know, if you were to walk into a place in the States and they're like, these are the reasons why. Do you have any questions? What can we do to make sure, you know, it's like, it's a pretty amazing thing. I used to love Walmart. I used to go through and just like, I'd be making mental lists of all the things that I wanted, because there's like, you know, this I could use in a film, and this I can change this into something else, and all the rest of it. So I don't know. It's kind of
awesome.
a funny.
How long did you live in America?
Kind of funny.
How long did you live in America?
10 years.
10 years. Cool.
Now, Angel Heart, who's obviously an Aussie, and I haven't met her before. So first of all, welcome, Angel. And if you're not already, come over to my channel, where all the Aussies come and hang out with me too as well. We gotta support each other here on Dlive. But she goes, us Aussie girls are more like F off, not interested. But that's because they're super drunk and pushy idiots. Well, no, I'm going to be honest with you, Angel. That's exactly the experience I have. Like, you know, I've even been to, you know, the days where I used to go to bars and stuff, and you'd be dancing and whatever else, and you'd be dancing and it was all cool, and some girl would just turn around and be like, F you. And I'm like, whoa, just chill. Like, if you're not interested, that's okay. You know?
Sounds like the Wild West in one aspect. You just moved it from one aspect to another. Now it's dating. Where it's just like, wow, that's extreme. I know. I'm laughing because it's like, it's interesting. Like, I mean, I'm analyzing it as more of like a release of pride in some ways, where it's like,
well,
where, you know, I'm not saying like it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that it's interesting that it still finds a way to get out somewhere.
Of course.
Yeah. It's
so,
interesting.
but I mean, you know, it's an interesting one. So, I mean, I really like I mean, you know, another just very quick difference. And again, it's going to be interesting to see what people think about this, especially the Aussies in the chat, is that over here, if I were to go, hey, you know what, I want to make $1 million, people will be like, really? Who the hell do you think you are? When in the States, they're like, really? What's your idea? What's your idea to make $1 million? Hey, maybe, can I help with that? Maybe I can, you know, I'll make some money too. And that was such a, like, to me, especially when it was, you know, when I was a film student, when I went to UCLA, you know, in film school, no one would share their stories with you. So you sit around and you're like, what are you doing? What are you making? They're like, a film. I'm like, oh, cool. What's the story? And it's like, I can't tell you. And like, why? I'm like, because I don't want you to steal my idea. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's millions of ideas. And it's like, well, you know, this idea might. And over there, it's like, hey, you know, what are you working on? And they'll be like, oh, I'm working on this, this, and this. And it's like, I'm trying to work this out. And you're like, oh, cool. Can I help you with this? You know, and I just remember the first time I had a conversation, someone wanted to do a 16 mil film where they wanted to copy the light streaks out of Akira on the motorbikes when in the opening of the anime film, which is these guys are riding motorcycles, and the red stoplight at the back of the motorcycle was making streaks around the road, right? And I remember, you know, cut the tall poppy down here, says Angel Heart. It's interesting.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Tall poppy syndrome.
The tall poppy syndrome.
So yeah.
I see.
So, which is interesting. So I remember I said to this guy, hey, do you ever think about doing it this way to try and capture those light streaks? And out of that conversation, I have a complete, like this guy's a very good friend of mine. We still have a relationship, you know, he's still in the industry. He still bounces things off me. And, you know, next time I'm in the States, I'll go and visit and stay with him. It's like that came out of being open and having a conversation and being able to share an interest, where so many times I think to myself, just have that same barrel boy. Thank you so much.
He's using his safe word.
Barrel.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
You know, Gil, actually, I want to ask you a follow-up question on that. Because,
sure, man.
like, do you have a theory on why that cultural difference exists, where I mean, let's assume you're correct about it. I don't know if you are or not, but assuming you're correct, like, why do you think Americans are that way versus, like, what is there something about our roots, our backgrounds, our cultures that lead us to those differences?
I think there is part of it, or
our history.
I think one of it is also a financial one. Like, the American economy has enough dollars going through it that, if the guy wants to be a millionaire and make the pet rock, they can actually, that you've got the financial backing to do so, which means the pie isn't so small that everyone's fighting for whatever little sliver they can have. So I think that's a big part of it. It's a reason why I believe that there's never going to be an Australian film industry. You'll get independent films that people know, like Mad Max films and like Shine and all that sort of stuff, but they're all done complete, they're done on an independent thing, and then they gain the success once they're released on a, through a distributor. But we can't support our own industry. We make films. Like right now, we're making a lot of Hollywood films because we're basically Mexico. So that's one of the drawbacks, because we don't have such a strong financial economy per se, because we just don't have as many people in Australia, because the Outback can't support them as the US does. I think the other part of it, just really quickly, is what Angel Heart was saying, which is tall poppy syndrome, which is this idea that if you walk into a field of poppies and there's a few that are a little taller, it's natural for people to go in and pick those out, so everything's the same. Like in Australia, everyone's got to be equal. So the idea of saying, hey, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or it keeps a lot of things down. And to be honest with you, I can see some of that even happening here on Dlive to a certain degree.
Knock down the pride in someone else,
It's a fair argument. Man, there's so many different directions I could go with this. But do you think it stifles this characteristic of Australians stifles innovation in the will that? It sounds to me like that's going to hold the country back as a whole, right? And on the world stage, there'll be less innovation coming out of Australia, less cutting edge engagement with the world and whatnot. Would you agree with that? I don't know. I'm just pondering.
I think so. Absolutely. I think, it's a difference. Look, I mean, Angel Heart's making some really interesting comments, and I'm just thinking to myself, scarcity mindset possibility creates competition. Absolutely. It definitely creates competition. But the question is, what do you do with that competition? If the competition is that someone wins but doesn't share the bounty of that can be a bit of a problem. We've famously had a problem called the brain drain here in Australia, which means, the people who are smart enough to innovate and to lead the world seem to go overseas, because that's where you're able to get a lot of you get support as such. Recently there was the story about a university department that got a Nobel Prize for research in brain function, are now shutting down because there's not enough function. There's not enough support for that department, which is a real shame. Look, you know what? Australia's a great place. When we innovated quite well because we couldn't ship things across the world. It was just too expensive in the 40s, 50s, 60s. 70s it opened up. The 80s it definitely became a lot more. And it's it's a bit of a shame. Now I love Australia. Like any country, it has its great great strengths as well as its flaws. That's okay. It's not a problem. But there are definitely differences. And, well, like I said, I can only talk about my experience. I can't talk about it in a general space. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Jake, for the lemons. As we're winding down, is there anything else you want to say about the culture? Because I was going to go into Japan again, but I didn't want to leave them.
You know what? I did have something earlier, and now, I know what it was. This could take some time though, so I don't know if maybe I'll ask it off stream. It's totally germane to the subject, but it's going to be right up your alley, and you might want to go along with it. Yeah, it's about pride and travel.
Oh crap! Maybe that should be a different. Yeah, I think maybe I can. I was like, let's try to keep it short, and then you said pride, and I'm like, crap, never.
Well, here's what I'll do. I'll throw it out, and if you're like, okay, that's awesome, but let's save it for another time,
cool.
That'll be fine.
Go for it, man.
So my thought, it goes back to Gil's story where he was talking about the kid that was kind of like passed out in the doorway, and I was thinking about how we travel to these places where they're hungry, they're starving, everybody's in need. It's a hard way to live, and So like me as a rich American, I say rich in quotes because by American standards I'm not rich, but you go just about anywhere else in the world and you look like a king, right?
Humble
But
brag.
but
Just
the
kidding.
thing is,
Keep going.
well, the thing is, you go to a place like that, like Gil was
Yes.
describing, and it humbles you. It
Absolutely.
recenters you. It makes you. It's like, wow, I'm a little too high here in my head. Like I need to realize how good I have it, and that travel experience has a way of humbling you. But I'm also thinking that travel can do the opposite, where you go to some fancy beach that's touristy and all that stuff is hidden, and you isolate yourself from the harsh realities of the world, and that, in my opinion, could actually do the opposite of humbling you. It could actually serve to build up your pride, or maybe it's not pride,
How do
maybe
you
it's
do that?
something else. I'm not sure.
What can you tell me? Can you cut it to like what would build up your pride? Like what would happen?
Well,
What's this,
like
what's
if I travel in a way that isolates me from the harsh realities of the world,
okay.
It makes me think.
Yeah.
It puts me at opposition to
I would
reality,
say
right?
so. This
And
is
so,
what.
and it
Yeah,
makes,
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Okay, that's what you're
yeah,
talking about. Okay, so
right.
like I think I can answer it in a short time from my point of view. Again, it's just opinion and everything, but basically, I believe that the real pride is actually in the idea of actually thinking that that's like a better superior, because like pride comes from the hatred of inordinate self-esteem, meaning as you're doing that you think you're better than those people because you have the inordinate self-esteem. You don't have the amount of self-esteem that's normal from actual outside of pride sources, and if you want to separate the two a bit. Inordinate self-esteem means that, and then the other part of pride is an unreasonable hatred for superiority. So basically, if you are trying to say I'm better than those people because and then you start kind of going back and forth with that, where it seems like you are traveling as a superior, so you start to hate yourself a little bit even, and saying, oh, I need to experience that because that's why it's such a tricky thing. It's a little bit of a balancing act, especially with that thing that you're just talking about now. So again, I don't think it's pride unless you had dived deep into one of those two things of I'm better than those people, that's why I deserve to travel that way, or that this country sucks because the superiors here are crap. I hate this. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you and then you start hating yourself. So there's the double-edged sort of pride in that situation to me, where you'll actually start hating yourself for doing that, even if you have the means and you did it the right way, or you go into the inordinate self-esteem and you think that you're inferior, that they're inferior to you, and then they should figure it out so that they can be like you. That's how I would say the pride comes from. So it's not actually the act of you doing it that way. It's the point of view. Again, like that's why I love Star Wars. The point of view and the focus. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think I was referring to more of it as it's an ingredient that leads you closer to pride, right? Because if you're isolating yourself from if your travel experiences are all like 5-star hotels and isolated places that are wealthy or whatnot, then it's an ingredient that leads you closer to pride.
That's why pride traps to me is using those words. Like for example, Suki had a great part where she's saying you shouldn't feel that good about your stature. Feelings, positivity, gratefulness, gratitude, happiness, joy, that has nothing to do with pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we always say I'm proud of it and I feel good, I'm happy, I'm confident, I have self-esteem. Nothing to do with pride, but we've warped it. Pride wants to those credits. See what I'm saying? Like, we should feel happy that we were blessed to be in a country that you can actually do that. You should feel happy that you hopefully worked and helped other people through your job in some form to get the money to travel that way. But what we shouldn't feel is that because I did it, those guys are doing it wrong and I deserve this and I'm better than them, or I hate any superior who makes this situation happen, so I hate the superior. So you see what I'm saying? Like, that's where it comes, where it's like, I think everything is almost a pride trap, but it's also become even more dangerous because of it's warping the words of positivity, happiness, self-esteem that have nothing to do when you look at what the root word of pride was. So yeah, does that make sense? Or am I saying something crazy?
Well, I have no idea. It did
saying.
Make sense. And then at the tail end, I got distracted because Blobber Bob asked me if pride is a negative. I think generally yes, but but there's an asterisk there for me, and I still have to read BK's book, so I might change my mind. But I think I look at the world as very neutral, right? Like anything that exists in the world can be used for good or bad. Everything that's created has a purpose. And, I mean, we were talking about guns earlier. Guns can be used for good. They can be used for bad. They're, or just whatever, food, money, sex, all of these things
read my
can
book,
be used.
But this is parts of my book, actually. So go ahead.
Yeah, it can be used for good or bad. And so
Yeah.
I'm a little hesitant to just wash a wand over it and say pride is only bad. But again, I'm open to changing my mind. I have to be convinced by BK, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure if maybe that's not even your position. But so generally, I would say pride has the potential to be pretty destructive. Yes. And so therefore, I'd say it would lean bad. But I think there, like anything, there probably can be some good elements to pride. But I don't.
I can't
I'm not
wait.
sure.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm the top. I'm going to stop it now because it will go down a barrel. I wrote
barrel
a book.
boy?
It'll go down a barrel
Yeah.
boy. Barrel boy. No, that's why I wrote a book on it, because it's a very deep and interesting topic to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking next trilogy I might have to introduce. We'll go straight into that. I definitely will go straight into something like that. So next trilogy episode, that'll probably be my topic, because I do want to be respectful of Gil's time. I was going to talk about Japan and America, but why not go down my rabbit hole of what I think about all the time with pride? Because, I mean, like, in general, I would say, again, like, the funny thing is you said you didn't read the book, but I'm like, you're going straight down to the fact that I say a lot of those things in the book, where think of it this way, with everything's neutral, could be used for good or bad. A kitchen knife, I use that as an example because it's really easy to understand that
sure.
you're a master chef, you create beautiful meals for everybody. You're a murderer, you give a kitchen knife, it can be terrible. So like the neutrality of it is very key, and that's why I think pride, my theory right now is that pride can only be used negative, and we've come to an understanding that we think we can use it for positive, but we end up believing it's something else we think that the pride is the reason it's positive, when I don't think that's the case. That would basically be the main theory, where it's like, it's trying to convince us of that, but I'm always up to change. But again, you can see my book if you're wondering about that.
Okay,
so.
it is going to happen. I
you don't have to.
It's
okay.
literally next to me all the time. I just have not read it yet.
No worries. I didn't want to make this about that too much, but I mean, you mentioned it, and I appreciate it. So next time, I'll make sure pride and yeah, let's go to Gil, shall we? Barrel boy.
Are we going to rotate?
Are we going to rotate? I'm sick of being on top.
Take a short break.
Yeah, let's rotate.
All right.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's take a break.
In the break?
Yeah.
Let's go.
We'll be right back, everybody.
We gonna take it, 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 gonna take it to the top. I'm gonna take it to the top. I'm gonna take it to the top.
And we're back, and look who's on top. Look at the man down under, rivaling.
I'm cringing already.
Just when we were getting into Pride, my wheelhouse.
Is
We
that
have
your
to
O face,
get outta
Captain,
here.
when you cringe? Like when you're acting as a bottom. It's kind of. Oh, look at it. Captain's already trying to shut me down with the whole. When I was a little girl, I used to like ice cream. Ooh, 2 of them. Ooh, you see,
Double or nothing.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that this is where you know you're loved is when someone doesn't want you to talk anymore and they just throw money at you. And BK Johnson as well, dude. You guys are terrible. You know, I've got to kind of like.
It's a tradition.
Get in the act
It's
as
a
well.
tradition. When Gil talks, you just throw lemons at him. I don't know why. This is what makes him the Dlive top for us. Yeah,
Well,
let's go. Just throw it
Well,
at
I
him.
felt left out, so I had to throw some stuff in myself. So.
Lady
lady.
Crocheter. Oh,
Lady
Thank you.
Crochet, thank you. And my RV, all right, my
Oh, we're
RV,
getting
how you
closer.
doing?
Thank you. How you doing?
My RV is Blubber Bob's daughter. How awesome, my
Whoa.
RV. Good to meet you. So I hope you enjoy your time here and all the rest of it. So it's kind of cool.
We're not mature
Blubber
tag
Bob
yet,
was-
so I don't know how old he
Y'all
is, but
behave.
behave, guys. He said it. We'll try to stay out of mature
Yeah.
tag.
Absolutely, we're definitely going to behave. We'll definitely behave here. So I've got an
Go
interesting
as
question for
immature
you
as
guys,
possible.
but
Let's go. Yes.
But it's got to start with a bit of a story, right? So my question, well, let me tell you the story, and then I'm going to state the question. So as you guys know, or if you've been to my channel, or if you've been hanging around here on Trilogy, I shouldn't say you guys should know. That's my pride talking right there, and I shouldn't say that. But
God, don't get
you
me
know,
down that
I
trail.
like to think that I'm not going to say I'm a smart guy or anything like that, but I can understand situations, and I can make up my own mind, and all. Yeah, I like to believe that. See, these guys are laughing at me. This is why they're the bottoms right now.
Thank you, Julia. Hey.
No, it's kind of one of those situations, and I'll always share what I know and all the rest of it. So I ended up a couple of years ago. I decided that I was going to get into shape, and that I was going to go and I was going to clean up my eating, and I was exercising. I was eating no sugar whatsoever for months on end, and then I found myself in a really interesting situation, which was that a good friend of mine just got engaged, and of course we went to the engagement party, and he grabbed me. He's like, Gil, he's like, hey man, I got this Johnny Walker Blue, and I want to have a shot with you to celebrate my engagement. And I was like, yeah, cool, no problem. So I had one shot, and then he's like, you got to have another one. And we had another one. And then his other friends came over, and in a short amount of time, I think I had about 12 shots. And I got to be honest with you, it was a long time since I had was drinking, eating sugar, let alone drinking alcohol. So I went to my head, and at this party, one of the things that this guy had was this big plate full of homemade jelly donuts, right? And I'm a sucker for donuts, right?
Donuts.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll have half of one just to celebrate. And I think that in my my altered state as such, and I wasn't drunk, I was just tipsy, right? But I was just I probably ate 3 or 4 of them, and then I went home, and because of this party actually was during the day. It wasn't at night. So I actually had those 12 shots on an empty stomach, and I went home and I'm like, I got to sleep this off. I really got to sleep this off. Right now, a little bit, going back a little bit further, my family has a horrible history of diabetes. So I'm really aware. Diabetes is my father, my grandfather. So I'm always been like,
safe word soon, guys.
Yeah, it's diabetes.
Bearable,
You might have the
bearable.
diabetes. So the situation was, I went to bed, but I had a headache, and I don't know about anyone else, but I keep all my medication under my bed in a shoebox. So if I'm ever feeling bad at night, I can just go reach and grab it.
Medication.
It's my medication. Now, what I didn't realize was I went to grab some Panadol for a headache because I was feeling a little queasy. Only thinking back at the story now, do I think that I didn't take Panadol. I took something like Oxycontin or something like that. And then when I woke up, I was completely in a state I didn't expect. So I was completely, I don't want to say altered in the sense that, people use altered, but I was woke up and went, something's wrong. This is not what I should be after 7 hours of sleep. So I convinced myself that the only thing that could have happened was that I ate so much sugar in such a short period of time that I shot my my kidney, and now I'm a diabetic. I got a diabetes, right?
Pancreas? Is it pancreas? Is that right? Is it pancreas?
It's
the
pancreas,
pancreas,
right?
yeah.
Sorry, pancreas. Okay, there you go.
Well,
See, that's how much I don't know about this.
Hold on. It depends. It depends.
I was drinking my urine like crazy to see if it's
because there's two different types of diabetes.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
You got a diabetes.
Type 1 is
got to get
pancreas.
that as.
Type 2 is something else?
Type 2 is cell resistance to using
wow.
insulin.
Okay.
Which is more of a whole body endocrine system thing.
So my family has type 2 diabetes, and I know that I have already like they call it an insulin resistance thing. So blood sugar goes up, and then it takes a long time to drop them back down. So I kind of know that. So actually, Angie, it wasn't alcohol poisoning at all. I think I took something that I grabbed the wrong thing. So I woke up, and it just so happened that next day I had yet another friend who had a big engagement party, and I rang you up and I said, "Listen, man, I got to go to the hospital. I think there's a real problem here." In the end, I went, but then on the way back, I actually got a family member to take me to his other engagement party, so we're able to do that. My mother, who took me, knew my friend quite well, so he was happy to see her and celebrate with her. I went home and I went, "Hey, you know what? I've got my grandfather's blood tester. I'm gonna go and check to see if I've got diabetes." So I grabbed the tester. I pricked my finger. I tested it, and it came up with 32. It was the number. Now, for those people who don't know, a normal reading for blood sugar is what, Captain?
Between 90 and 120.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so in Australia, it's between so 6 and 10 on this meter that's normally read, right? So the meter was telling me that I was like 3 times the level, and I was at that point I freaked out completely. I was like, I'm either gonna go blind or die. Right. So ended up taking off the day. I was freaking out. This was on a Sunday, and I remember going to the pharmacy and I said, I actually said to them, "I've got this meter. I just need to get the thing." They're like, "Are you diabetic?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, those little test tabs are like $200 a pop if they're not, if you buy them privately and they're not funded by the government." So I was like, "Whoa, are you like?" I was like, "Holy, I can't do that." So the next day I went to the doctor, and I kid you not, this is exactly the conversation they had. I walked in there. He goes, "I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to ask you to step back outside. I've got a patient that's dying. I need to take this phone call." So I went back outside. He called me in, and he goes, "What's going on?" And I said, "I think I'm diabetic." He goes, "Do this test, and come back and see me next week." Coin Captain didn't like the story. He left us.
Well, it's striking close to the diabetes.
No, I was having
heart.
a problem I had to deal with, but it's dealt with now, so we're good.
Okay.
Yes.
Diabetes.
So,
diabetes.
Diabetes. I was having a
diabetes.
problem with my diabetes.
Diabetes. Right?
I am diabetic, everybody, by the way. I'm
Yes.
type 1 diabetic, for the record.
So I spend the week trying to work out how I'm going to have to change my life, obviously taking insulin and all the rest of it. Go back to the doctor. The doctor's talking to me. He's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, "Hey, what about that, that sports event that happened last week?" And I'm like, "Listen, shut up. Tell me if I'm diabetic or not." He goes, "No, you're not diabetic at all." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" And he goes, "Why are you even asking?" I tell him the story. He goes, "Do you have the kit? Do you have the testing kit?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, these testing strips were out of date by 4 years.
Wow.
And supposedly the longer they go, the worse the calibration's off on them. He goes, "If you test them now, you'll also be 30, 40, depending on what it was." He goes, "Next time, just come down and see me." So my question to you guys is, have you ever had a situation where you thought something, like something medical or something big was happening, and it took you kind of like getting past your fear to deal with it, to realize, oh, okay, yeah, hang on a second, I might have made up a story here out of fear, as opposed to going, "Geez, if I just gone down to a hospital, they would have tested my blood and gone, 'No, you're fine. You just probably,'" And that's why I think now that I took the medication was probably, I expected to take some really gentle pain relief, but ended up taking something that was in my system that made me feel like, oh my God, I'm like this is a life choice now. Like, you know, I've got to make sure I keep my toes, or, you know, it's kind of a weird thing. And Angel Heart, just to let you know, I do fast, and after all of this, I did keep a keto diet. Unfortunately, with the lockdown, a lot of that went out the window, especially with exercise and a few other things. But I do appreciate that. So yes, you can fix some of that stuff up. BK, have you ever had a situation like that?
Yeah. Two things came to mind. First coming up to mind was I thought I was having some heart issues, and like panic or like something to do with that. Like I was like, I wanted to get like the EKGs and get my heart tested out because I could feel like, you know, that area, and I could when I'm going to bed, I could feel when I lay face down, I could feel like the heart, you know, the beats in the heart in the bed type of thing. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, and I had that strain there. And it ended up being like acid reflux. Reflux, I always, there was other things with acid reflux that I've had. I can't remember what other symptoms, but that was the one that always scares you, you know, because you're thinking about possible heart problems, you get kind of worried. But I've had some other symptoms from acid reflux that always surprised me. So I think that's one where it's like, I can't remember what the other ones were, but I have had many times like where it was a false alarm where I'm really scared, but then I just go to the doctor, they say, take this acid reflux medicine, and it fixes it all. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's a couple of short scares that were similar to yours, where you're like panicking. What came to mind on the long term was that I always have a problem with like my stomach. I'm a cancer to society. No, wait. No,
don't say that.
In July, no, I know. In July, my birthday's in July, so I'm the cancer crab. And they always say like you know, the hard exterior, but the insides are like weaker. And I was like, oh, that's why I have a stomach that pisses me off, because I want to eat what I want to eat. I want to drink alcohol. Hence the joke boofing, as we talk about, which I've never done. But me and CoinCap are really trying to build a laboratory where we can safe boof safely together.
Absolutely. The green room.
The green room. But it's very unhealthy. But but I can't drink alcohol that well. I have problems with that. So like I've had a lot of colonoscopies, a lot of endoscopies. I've had way more than my mother, who's, you know, I think in her 70s now. So and so at one point I went to a gastroenterologist. Is it gastro? I can't remember what it is. Gastro something. You know?
Gastroenterologist.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Yeah. So like, I went to that, and they did a test and said you have Crohn's disease.
Oh boy.
And so they put me on these like steroids and all this other stuff, and I took that for months, but it was getting really bad things was happening. My immune system was going crazy. My allergies were getting worse, and everything was breaking down. So over a while, I kept getting tested, but they weren't finding anything else. So I was basically miserable. So I went to another doctor in a second opinion. They tested me and said, I don't know what the hell that doctor's going on with. You don't have Crohn's disease. So I took a bunch of steroids and like medications for Crohn's disease that I still think have some, that I still have some after effects from. That's my kind of panic moment where I was depressed, that I was like, wow, it's like, Crohn's disease is nothing to be scoffed at or like be shaken off as like, oh, that's not a big deal, because it was like, that's what they thought. But unfortunately, also the opposite way, the fear of actually having that kind of overrode a lot of my sensors, that I was kind of thinking something's wrong, and I actually still regret that I didn't get a second opinion faster, because I still think that those steroids and the medications that I was on, since then, I've had way more sensitivities and problems with my body since then. So, yay, medical system. But anyway, sometimes it's needed. But,
BK.
How dare you say that about my mother? Go ahead. What?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, talking about like the medical system and stuff like that. I think it, like everything, it has its own place. I have been off streaming this last week and pretty much the week before, because of the fact that I was suffering from something. Ended up in hospital, ended up with scans and all the rest of it. I think Western medicine's a little bit like, if you use an analogy of a tree, if there's a point where you've got to lop off limbs to save the tree, where I see some alternative medical practices almost like pruning the tree, removing little things to allow all of it to thrive. That's just my personal kind of understanding. And what ended up allowing me to get back on the road of recovery was going back and getting people to prune a few things off, as opposed to going in there and saying the only answer is surgical. We've got to open your ankle up and take out this stuff, and there's not going to be any guarantee. And it's like, okay, listen, I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're saying, but before I take that drastic step, which was offered, let me try everything. And again, it scares me that 3 days of taking this kind of magic elixir, which I've shown people on stream, which is this like turmeric and saffron and a few other things, which are natural kind of anti-inflammatories, was doing better than the medication they gave me for people who have chronic arthritis. So, more power, do everything that you need to do.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me.
Well, that's why I like how you said the fears can change it, because like that's what it was.
Absolutely.
Like I was tapping into the fears of, oh my God, I got to prepare for this and I have to do this now, and it actually and I felt like a victim of Crohn's disease too. It was fears and victim, and if I actually, as soon as I hit my limit of I can't, something's going on, I have to take control of it on my own and solve this, and find that in between, instead of just taking that. Now, I actually still enjoy Western medicine as well, but it is a lot like that. My sister in the chat, she was saying that she actually is the scientist of the family. She was going to be a biochem engineer type of thing. She was very smart, science stuff, but she does talk about the medical industry. We've talked about it before, and I remember you said something like this. I know you're probably lurking, sis, but if I misquote you, I'm sorry. I'm paraphrasing.
I scared her off by saying that your mum's my mum too.
She's calling my mom right now, just double checking, saying
she's like, "You don't believe what BK's saying to you about you."
I know.
BK saying this trash on you, that thing that you liked.
This is my last stream, guys.
Hi,
I'll
Mom.
see you later.
Hi, Mom. If you don't want him, if you don't want him anymore, so good.
My mom's gonna cut me down and say you're off streaming, and if we'll see what there's gonna be. I have to take care of a family war for a second. But anyway, no, like she said something that I thought was really interesting, where it was like most of the time they default to treating the symptoms instead of the source of the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
absolutely.
The drugs a lot of the time aim to reduce that swelling, but it hasn't. What's causing the swelling is not what's going towards, right? Like it's like the drugs will make your body say reduce that swelling,
right.
But what's causing the swelling in the first place is what's being ignored if you don't start trying to treat that, right? And so it's a little bit of both, yeah.
Right. So I'm full of analogies. I love analogies because I think it's a way of communicating. So my analogy, not just on medicine with what you're talking about, but I think with a lot of people who, are dealing with things in their lives, is that we end up spending a lot of time cleaning up the blood on the floor and not actually addressing the wound on your arm. So, and I see that a lot where people are dealing with like cleaning up what's going on, but what they don't realize is if you happen to have a cut on your arm as you're cleaning it up, you're forever getting into a cycle of cleaning that blood off, not without actually going, why is this here? And I think that's what you were saying, which is if you deal with the symptoms, you're not actually dealing with the problem. Sometimes you've got to go through the symptoms to get to the actual root cause of the problem. Suki was saying she likes herbology. That's actually the person who ended up being able to give me some relief. And you might have seen me kind of taking these little pills and taking them as we were going along. These are just kind of, not herbs, but essence of this sort of stuff. And what was interesting was she didn't ask me anything about my physicality stuff. She's like, what's on your mind? What's causing your grief? And then she's like, cool, we got to do this and we got to deal with this. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just like everyone else, right? I mean, like, just because I'm a Dliver and share my opinions doesn't mean that I have the answers. Everyone has their own issues. Everyone has all that sort of stuff. But what I walked away from that was more powerful than anything else was after, and this situation for me had been going on since November last year. So November last year, I would have chronic bouts of pain, and it just got to the point where I didn't have any relief. No one could give me a direction to move within. When I went and saw this person, her whole kind of thing was, take this, 2 days later, tell me what's going on. We're going to move you in the right direction. And that was the most powerful thing that I had, that unfortunately Western medicine doesn't really do that in general. It's more like, take this, you'll be fine, and next person out. I do openly admit that I'm very, very lucky that the people that deal with this issue, because it's been such a long-term issue for me, it's been for the last 20 years, that I do have a relationship with my doctors and rheumatologists and all the rest of it that I can have an open conversation and I can sit there and they'll say things like,
would you say that? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the last time, it was like, I haven't seen you in 6 years. And I'm like, yep. And they're like, why do you think this has flared up? And I went, you know what? I had a really bad bout, where this and this happened. And I got a little upset and then it just kind of spiraled. And he'll go, all right, I can understand that. Like medically, I can't put that in my diagnosis and I've got to look at what's going on. But it's like, let's get you in an MRI. Let's go see what's going on. And in the end of it, when I said to him, I'm trying this, he goes, stay on it, do whatever it needs to, because from where I'm coming from, there's two options that I can give you. You either remove part of the soft tissue in your ankle, or he said the other option, and it's going to cost you a fortune, is they actually, you'll like this, Captain, they inject tiny little microscopic particles of gold into your joints, right? That for some reason has an anti-inflammatory effect. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, I better not see, Coin Captain, because he'll be all like, let's take that gold out of here.
Well, that's the newest service I'm going to be offering on my channel. I'll be storing gold and silver inside people's bodies. And,
nice. Wait a second.
Burying my treasure.
That's
literally.
not new. That's called muling. Yeah. But Gil, would you? Because I think it's more like a balance of the force type thing, where it's like they both required. It's just if we go one way too far, one or the other, we're missing a part of the story. You know what I mean? Like, because of course the Western medicine serves its parts and saves lives just as much as herbs can, but it's when the balance is out of whack that it becomes a problem. Would you think that's kind of like what you're getting at a bit too? Because you're using both, obviously. You said you still go to the doctor and then use herbology. So. Absolutely.
So for me, again, I can't stress this enough, because unfortunately some people have heard me say things and then gone, he believes this, and that's law. That's not what I'm saying. I'm only sharing what my experience is. Yeah. I have a relationship with both, right? If the herbology works for me in this situation, that's the direction I go. That's why I jumped into the MRI machine. That's why I went and saw my rheumatologist. And to be honest with you, he's a specialist, right? I got to pay out of my own pocket. Like, it's not like I can go to a hospital and just get it covered. And of course, so what I try to do is go, cool, these guys are experts in everything. Let's rule some of these things out, see what's going on. And usually for me, it just gets to the point where I'm just like, man, like, I don't know. I'm just, again, you talk about pride a lot, and that's one of the things that I love about our conversations, BK. But my pride is I never want anyone to see me not being able to do something, whether it's work, whether it's streaming, whether it's any of that sort of stuff. I generally I'm like,
well, I can't wait till you get my book, because you said you ordered it.
No, I'm waiting for it.
The end of the book,
dude, I'm so
the end
waiting
of the book
for
is literally what you just said. If it works, go with it, and that's what you're talking about. If it's working for you in that situation, because I like how you introduced the fear to it, because again with pride, like, to me, I think pride is the retreating the symptom instead of the actual source, and I think pride is the source of the problem, where the symptoms are the things that come out that we try to blame other things for. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that guy's just this, that girl's just that this person's like that. It's like, but then I think that's the thing. So that's why it links to this as well. But I was liking what you said there, because it's like, when we're saying this, we're speaking from our own personal opinions of what's worked for us and what our point of views. And it's the same thing with pride. It's the same thing with the medical industry, where it's like, sometimes you're going to need that, sometimes you're going to need it. And I love how you introduce fear into it, because that's also in there as well, where it's like the fear clouds that, where you're not focused as much on being like getting what's working. You're focused on getting rid of that thing that's making you scared. It's like, I'm in pain. I might have, like, just like the Crohn's disease in my story. I was focused on Crohn's, and when I was scared of that, I should have, if I actually took the time out of that fear, I could have actually gotten out of that situation faster, which I still regret to this day. But again, I love how you incorporated fear in that. That's all I gotta say.
Captain, I'm gonna say Suki's right along your most big, your greatest passion. She's like, silver's a great medicine. I'm not yet there with silver colitis and all the rest of it, but
colloidal
silver colitis,
colitis,
colloidal silver,
colloidal silver. I don't know what it's called. Colitis. I got colitis.
I got diabetes and silver.
Diabetes and colitis.
I spelled it wrong, but colloidal silver. That's right. I take it.
There's one thing that I've learned, right? I mean, like, and this is kind of a life journey. It surprises me some of the things that I end up experiencing and trying out. Not all of them work. of course, and I'm not talking about faith healing or anything like that, but I went to Brazil for a wedding, and some guys were like, "We're gonna go camping," and the next thing I know, I was like, I ended up on a ayahuasca journey, which is like totally something I would never consider, and I was just like, "Wow, all right, I would never have considered that." And I'm like, I came back and I'm like, kind of, it's a little bit like Star Wars. It's like I took a step into a wider world that, because of the connotations and what ayahuasca is a natural form of DMT, which is considered a hallucinogenic drug and all that sort of stuff. And I got to be honest with you, they didn't tell me what it was. They were just like, "Drink this," and I'm like, "What is it?" And they're like,
wow.
"It's from a root," and I was like,
no.
"That's okay." And I'm like, "Why is everyone throwing up?" And then they're like, "You got to throw up." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to. I'm gonna be like the one who doesn't." And then eventually it was, and I was like, "Wow, what the hell did you give me?" And they're like, "Yeah, baby." I was like, "Okay,
oh my
wow."
god, this is scary. This is like a hazing ritual. This is like a Trilogy Show hazing ritual.
It was, to be honest with you, it really was with someone that I trusted. Otherwise, not. But through having that experience and being able to, it's allowed me to go in and say, "You want me to take like refined, turmeric and stuff like that in a thing in water?" I was like, "Well, if I take all of this stuff, what happens if it doesn't work?" And they're like, "You just excrete it. It's not going to hurt you." And I'm like, "Let's do it." Right? It's way better than saying to someone, having someone say to you, "We're going to put you under a knife for 2 hours and cut out certain areas. And by the way, you will always be at risk of tearing your tendon. And by the way, it's going to take you 2 years to be able to walk again." And I'm like, "Let me go and take the drink." It's the less of fear. So again, it's about not the fear. If I have to do it, I'll do it. But it's also about, being able to say, just because it's one thing that you're used to doesn't mean it's always going to be something else. And that also comes back to what we have spoken about before on this channel, which is about free will. It's like, you may not like the situation, but you have an active choice on what you want to do. You can sit there and you can go to the emergency room and you can bitch and moan to the nurses and doctors to the point where they don't want to deal with you anymore. Or you can say, "You know what? I'm going to empower myself in everything that I can. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to ask people. I'm going to, and ultimately it'll be my choice whether it works or not. And I'm not going to put that responsibility on anyone else."
Yep.
And I think that's a really powerful thing, especially when you're suffering.
That's exactly what happened with me and Crohn's. So yeah, go ahead. We're going to go with coin, I think.
That's all right. There's an old Remedy Rub gold band on the ring for a sty in your eyelid. Yeah, it's like, I know, Captain, we haven't got to you, but I was just going to share one of the things that I use. In Australia, they have a thing called lactic acid. And what it is it's crystals that you put in your washing machine, and it's made of carbide soda and something else. And what it does is it softens the water when you're washing clothes, so it doesn't wear them out. And for some reason, like in the 40s or 50s, people used to wrap their limbs where they had rheumatism, and it would bring the swelling down. No one knows why this does this, right? It's an old kind of wives' remedy, and a bag of this stuff costs $4. And I've been known to wrap my ankle, in a pillowcase full of these crystals and put it overnight. And it does, for some reason, it takes the swelling down. And it's like, you know what? $4, if it doesn't work, then I just get really, really soft baths when I put this stuff in the water. It's pretty cool, actually. Captain, have you ever had a situation like that where you've thought, okay, he's left again?
Well,
and that's the show, everyone. We don't want to hear from the captain.
So one thing I've said a couple times on my stream, I don't talk about it too. There he goes. Well, here in that case. Here.
Hello.
Is
Oh, thank God.
Justin Sun rules.
Justin Sun rules. Oh.
Who said that?
Thank you, Coin Captain.
Coin Captain shutting himself down with some
we were just waiting for you to give us some money and then or some lemons, and
Coin
then
Captain,
you can talk. Now you
if
can
you
talk.
want to shut yourself. If you want to shut yourself down, it has to be Ninja Guineas and Ninjets only. Look at him laugh, everyone. Look at him laugh.
So I've shared a few times my mom passed away from breast cancer. It was not discovered, at least publicly, by the family until it was very far advanced and essentially beyond hope.
Sorry.
I mean, she passed away about 30 days after we found out about the diagnosis. So I had 1 month, but I'll tell you, I was really thankful for that month because it happened at a time in my life with her that that we weren't really getting along. It was a difficult time in our relationship, and so I was really thankful for that month to try to reconnect and make amends, so to speak, which we did for the most part. But anyway, long story short, I think that experience for me caused me to be like hyper nervous or uptight or fearful of cancer. And so now it's like anytime something, I'm like, oh, it's cancer. Oh, it's like it's constantly no matter what. I mean, except for my broken toe the other week, it's like if it's anything that could even possibly be cancer, oh, it's cancer. And I can't get that out of my head. It constantly nags at me. And it always turns out to be, well, not always, I shouldn't say always, but it 98% of the time, it always, it turns out to not be cancer. I actually have had cancer. I've had melanoma on my back, which they caught early and cut out. And so it was just a quick surgery thing to remove. And now I get regular skin checks. So it's all good. But aside from that, I've never had cancer. And it's always turned out to be something much more minor. But yeah, that happens to me a lot. That's the first thing that came to mind. I've had the opposite experience though, where like I've thought there was absolutely nothing wrong with me, and there really was, which is kind of the opposite of what we've been talking about.
Was silver addiction?
No, my career's in the airlines, but my original goal was to be an airline pilot. I have a private pilot's license, and I got that in college. And I wanted to, go all the way with it and become an airline pilot. And so I was doing my flight training, and I had to renew my medical certificate every 3 years to do that. And so I went and I did all the tests and everything, and they come back and I'm thinking everything's great. All right, where's my little my slip of paper? I can go start flying again. And they said, you have diabetes.
Is it the diabetes? It's the diabetes.
Yeah. And I had no idea, no clue. It hit me like, what? What do you mean I have diabetes? Now looking back, there were some signs and symptoms that I just attributed to, I'm getting older, my body's changing.
Peeing every 2 seconds?
What?
Peeing every 12 minutes? We see that here all the time.
Did you change your voice on purpose?
No.
That's why we're freaking out.
I was like, who is this? What is going on?
Justin Sun
here?
rules.
I'm sorry.
You
know what? sorry, Justin Sun rules. No, you know what? I've got to fix that up. I've realized that there's certain keys that'll trigger the voice change. Okay. So, I'll suddenly be like, is it the fact that you pee every 12 minutes, Captain? Is that what's going on? Justin Sun rules.
It is my diabetes that makes me pee a lot. Yes, but I mean, now it's obviously well under control, and I have the automatic pump, which tells me constantly what my blood sugar is. But I'm thankful for it because I don't have to, use needles constantly now, which is much better. But anyway, enough of that. My point was I was blindsided by it, and that's kind of the opposite of what we were talking about. I thought nothing was wrong, and then sure enough, it was. So. It turns out though they misdiagnosed me. Initially they said, oh, you have type 2, which is your body resists insulin, you have to diet, exercise, all that. I mean, which is good no matter what, but that's like the primary way you manage it. And then they try to dump some pharmaceuticals on you. Turns out no, it was my pancreas had given out, and I was a late onset type 1 diabetic, which most type 1 diabetics onset in childhood, and I was 30 years old when I got the diagnosis, and that's...
Sorry, Captain, I have a friend of mine who broke his leg
playing... Did you do the voice again, Gil?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No.
Justin Sun rules. Okay.
Justin Sun rules.
Justin Sun rules.
Where's my Charles Wayne?
I don't know what's going on, man. I couldn't even hear it on my end, which is kind of a weird thing.
Next time I'm going to talk like this. Hey, How you doing? It's like a radio. It's like a phone call to you guys.
Remember, embrace failure. That's one of my mottos on my channel.
Yeah, no, it's
but
all
like,
good.
you're starting to learn when we're looking at you like this. You're like, oh, it might be my voice.
Well, also, you guys learned that I have no idea about it, so you're like, your voice changed again. I'm like, oh, I've got to go in there and fix it up, but and I will. But I had a friend of mine. We were playing basketball, and he got hit on the side when he was going up to do a dunk, and he broke his leg. And I went to visit him, like, you know, a week later after he had some surgery. He had to have a bar put into his leg to fix it. And as I was talking to him, let's say if I'm looking at you straight, he was looking at me like this. And I said to him, what's going on? And he went, I can't see you. And I went, oh, okay. And again, because of my own experience and family experience, I went to the nurse and I was like, you might want to go check him. And they're like, why? I said, because he's claiming he can't see me and he hasn't been looking at me. They tested his blood sugar levels and he was like I think it was 38. And I believe that anything 40 above, you actually end up in a diabetic coma. So he's now also diabetic. And, you know, and he always says, if you didn't come and visit me, I said, they would have checked it. You know, they would have realized what was going on. It's just because whatever, you know, I've had a little bit of experience with that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's scary stuff, man. I mean, just because it's, you know, because the onset for you, Captain, was a little bit later on, I never knew in his case, it was actually trauma that set off his diabetes. It like his pancreas was so badly shocked, it stopped making insulin.
Well, one thing that people were talking about in the chat earlier, well, I guess you guys were a little bit too, is the effect of stress on health. And
100%.
And actually, incidentally, I have a theory. I can't prove it, of course, but at the same time I received that diagnosis, I was going through what I describe as the most stressful time of my life. It was the divorce from my first wife. Oh. And I was extremely stressed during that time. It was probably my greatest fear in life at that time was divorce, and I do believe, without any evidence to support it, that other than my own experience in life, that it was that stress that triggered that in my body. I think type 1 diabetes is a dormant condition that can be activated by certain things, and one of those things definitely is stress. And so I think that's
we each have.
I think that's why
like
that popped up.
Do you have one like that too, Gil? Because you guys know about my. I mean, I talked about it before. It is the beginning of my book, but it's a lot about infertility in my life causing the most stress, and I still have a congealed like it used to be a marble-sized pocket of blood in my it's in my kidney, and it was basically my kidney started bleeding into my stomach. There was a rupture of my kidney into my stomach, and I was in the hospital here in Japan for 10 days. And the only thing that makes sense is stress. So again, that's your story where the trauma does that. Mine is that my life falling apart, where I actually decided to become an author and write a book, much to my craziness. And then basically that's the beginning of my book, is how that happens. I had a big pocket that was like this big of blood, and now I actually still get tested every half a year or 3 months, depending on if it's getting bigger or smaller, trying to make sure that it doesn't get bigger. But I go back every 3 to 6 months to make sure that this thing hopefully will go away. But there's this like a congealed blood or a hardened blood residue or something they don't even really know, because it's in a part that they said, we're not, if it was serious and you're having issues and you can't survive it, or you're having problems, we'll have to, but we'd cut it out. But it's in a place that if we open it up, it's more of a risk for your life to do it. So they said, we're just going to monitor it and make sure the blood gets smaller, and it's going smaller and smaller. So,
okay,
but that was all
if you ever get to that stage, I'll do it for you. It's okay.
No, first I have, well, that's why I love you guys. Trilogy, always trying to save my life. First, Coin Captain says, all I need to do is inject some gold and silver into my kidney and it should be fine. So I'm going to try that first. And if that doesn't work out, Gil, right after the silver...
I'll definitely.
Now you really want to cut it out.
Back out of you.
You can get the silver and gold. It'll go from coins to my body to your hands. I think we got it. You'll save my life. Trilogy.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Thank you. But yeah, do you have something like that too, Gil? You had like stress causing, like, because...
absolutely. Like, for me, it was the end of a 12-year relationship, and that's when my ankle started flaring up, and that's when I had to have the first bout of surgery. And the complaint didn't go away in a year and a half, and I was like, okay, I've got to go and deal with that. And then and I truly believe that it's a stress reaction. My personal theory is that the body takes a certain amount of energy to keep it running, and that when you're stressed, you've got to channel that energy to different places, whether it's emotional, physical, or anything else, and that's it. And that's why, sometimes when people end up doing stuff that's stressful to other people, it's actually an incredibly cruel thing, because it's not just about ego on the other person's side, but it's actually causing damage to others. And I think that's, a real shame. What a stream that would be. Surgery with Gil. Oh my gosh. You know what? Total siege.
We need a guinea pig first. I don't want to be the first one, but I'd watch it. I'd watch it.
No, you know what? I mean, it's an interesting thing. I know that your sister was saying that she was pre-med. Yeah. I actually at one point sat what they call the GAMSAT here in Australia, which is gets you tested to see if you can, as a mature age student, go into medicine. And that relationship that I was telling you about with my ankle and all the rest of it, her whole family were doctors and all that sort of stuff. So they were like, being a creative and a film person, that's not really a career. You got to be, you just got to do education, stuff like that. And I chose not to do it because I didn't want to be the guy who was like, go away. I'm not, I'm going to go watch this Star Wars clip. Here you go take those antibiotics and come back to me if you think. It's like, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's on. I don't want to sit in a thing and listen to you complaining about the fact that you got diarrhea again. Like, just, so my heart wasn't in on it, but it did allow me, a basic understanding, and also, helping someone go through medical school was, you would learn as they were learning. So, I'm not saying that I'm a doctor or anything like that. Absolutely not. But I have enough basic understanding of what's going on. The two things that I walked away from helping someone that I was in a relationship with go through 7 years of medical school is, one, that it takes a lot to kill someone. So if you make a mistake in one area, you're fine. Like, you can always deal with it later on. But if there are like 4 or 5 major functions of the body that are failing, and then you make a mistake, then that could be catastrophic. So I remember, their final kind of graduation speech, the head of school going, "Don't be afraid, because it takes you're fine. You're not going to be like, I gave him the wrong pill and he died." Like, there has to be a number of things. And the other thing is, it's all experience. So, the more experience someone has in a field, the more, they'll understand. So always go, I tend to really enjoy kind of doctors towards the end of their working life, because they're happy to listen to you. The only problem is that if you've got something going on, they also happen to leave this world, and you've got to start again.
I was curious though. When was that? When you actually got diagnosed with diabetes? How many years ago was that?
It was like about 15 years ago, somewhere around there.
Cool. And so you went through the whole thing, like, you were
vaguely
actually
speaking.
You were actually going to get like your license, right? Your flight license.
I had my pilot's license. I had a medical certificate that I'd passed a few times already. But you have to get it renewed every 3 years, and so I was going back for the renewal.
Oh, okay.
It was to me it was a very routine visit, right? Yeah. It was like, I'm just gonna go get this renewed, no big deal. It's like you're going to get your driver's license renewed. You just, here I am again, and they're like, stamp, and you're done. And that's what I thought it would be, and no, it was like, your life is about to change.
Wow.
I'm assuming they drew blood, right? So they ran a few tests.
No, well, they didn't draw blood in that particular visit. It was a urine sample that proved it out. They were drinking.
Did they taste it?
Yeah,
they tasted it. I'm telling you, man. You could have done the test before they came there, and you would have known.
Right.
But we learned a lot in today's show. One of us likes to drink urine. No.
not it.
Who was the pre-med one here again? I wonder.
A BK. I've never said that doctors drank urine. They taste it. There's a big difference between tasting and drinking.
I
believe your sister is in here. She may be able to verify that claim. So, not saying that she does it, but I'm sure if she knows the history of medicine, there's a lot of. All we were saying was the human mouth is a great.
Finish the sentence well.
I was going to say, what did I call? What did I say initially? It was a great analyzer.
Yeah. I think chemical analyzer.
Something
Yeah. some sort
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
science word. that
Because
I-
we're talking
I
about why
ignored.
babies stick things in their mouths, and you were saying it's to get germs. It's also because they're exploring the world that way.
Interesting.
And I won't talk about your sister again. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's your
Don't
sister
talk
too.
about my sister.
Apparently, it's your sister too. That's what you said. So we'll
Talk about your sister again.
stay away from my sister, Diablo.
No, my sister's
Diablo.
got a master. She's a doctor, and she's also
Oh, really?
got a master's in public health. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like-
She's
just
a
like-
PhD in microbiology. There you go.
Oh, I thought you said that we had the same mother too, or something like that.
Well, that's
That's
sorry.
what that's what you said.
Sorry,
So
that's what I meant.
she's
Yes,
your
yes, that's
she's
true.
your sister too.
Yes, that's right. I'm scared where this is
Awkward
going.
silence. Awkward
Well, and
silence.
that's
Well,
the
it's just
show.
it's just-
everybody.
I know that I'm
It
the
is
top, but you've also been the top, and some of the things you've said to me is just like, oh my gosh, if we're family, you shouldn't be saying that or doing that,
I'm
BK.
sorry. I know. Well, that's why I'm here for you to guide me.
You wait till you get the surprise package from me.
Oh no.
Ah.
Don't worry, it's gonna be on tape. We're gonna all show it together. So if anything's weird or they know who it's from, they'll know who the culprit is.
So we each get 2 packages.
2 packages.
Yeah, because I got to send one to Japan and Australia,
Yeah.
and the Australian has to send to Japan.
Ooh.
So we get to open 2 packages, and then we get to tell whose package we like better.
I don't want to open Koikeva's package.
It's definitely a competition. It's a
And I don't want to
competition.
open BK's package either. Don't send me packages. It's all about
We're gonna
the
send you
euphemism.
packing, is what we're gonna do.
Yes, that's exactly it. Too much euphemism talk here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Look, you know what? I'm glad to hear that. Like, those scares do definitely wake you up. I remember saying to myself, I'm never going to let myself go through something like that again. I was being too smart. My fear meant I'll go and use some old equipment, and then once I learned that, the test strips actually, I was just like, forget it. Okay, you know what? Go to the doctor, ask a question. If don't be afraid for the answer. But I'm glad to hear, that for you, BK, that it's all in the clear as well, and as well for you, Captain, because it's kind of a scary thing, man. It is we are all human. We all have our, the great thing about being a human being is that we're all not perfect. And when some people kind of cast their finger in judgment and say you should be perfect, I go, well, I don't know anyone in history, in time and space, recorded history at least, that was absolutely perfect. Everyone kind of had those moments where, they may have done their best with the best intention, or they may have gone out and done something knowing that it might not have been for the best intention. But I truly believe no one. It's a little bit like making a film. No one wants to make a bad film that everyone's going, oh, that film's a stinker. Everyone starts with, this is going to be the greatest piece of work I ever do, and I think that's everyone's lives the same way. BK Johnson, Coin Captain,
Love you.
Should
in 4 ways.
we wrap this up, man?
Maybe 3.
This is a long.
Before we go,
trilogy show.
we did say in one of the breaks we want to make sure we open the chest, right? So.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna open the chest. No, we're not gonna
I
open
think
the chest.
every now and then we forget to do that. So yeah, we
Gimme.
definitely wanna get
How many lemons we want
And,
to put? how many lemons
can
want
I
in
just
there?
put in a plug
Yes.
here? If you're out there lurking and following,
yes,
we
absolutely.
are happy that you're here, but we'd love to keep you. And so if you wouldn't mind, hit that follow button for us. We would love to get to 200. Then we can show some love. And there it is. Oh, that's an ice cream, not a follow. But so I'll take that too.
Hit that follow button now so we don't lose you later on. Yeah. Doomwave, why did you play me in fun? Dlive, why are you afraid? I don't understand. It's not gonna hurt.
Best
I
of 5.
promise. It's all gonna be cool.
Clip that.
Know
Send
where
that
that
to
came
Doomwave.
from.
Send that to Doomwave right now. He's
Don't
shots
click
fired.
that.
Shots
Don't-
fired.
No, that's so good.
That was awesome. Love you, Doomwave. Yeah.
It's all good, man. It's all good, baby. It's all good.
Doomwave loves me.
I love Doomwave.
He loves me like.
You seem very confident with that.
No, I was gonna say, no. Well, he does love me. He loves me when I'm not talking to him. He loves me when he doesn't talk to me on his stream. He loves me when I'm asleep.
Long time. How many lemons want to put in here, guys? How do you want to be sent out in the chest? Three.
One for you, one for me, one for him.
Okay.
I don't know how. I don't know. You know,
Fallen. You went and made a clip. Oh, Fallen.
30?
I love.
She's gonna get me into trouble.
Let's publish that puppy.
Oh my
33.
Whatever you
I
want.
don't know. How many do we? Whatever, man. You guys know me. I give everything away, so I better leave it to you guys to decide.
Top Gil, what do you want me to do? 33. What do you think? Or we roll? You want to roll? We can roll. You want to roll for some lemons? Like best of 5
Give me
Dlive
some
style?
of that Tootsie Roll.
Thank you, Julia.
Some of that Tootsie Roll.
What are you feeling? What you feeling?
Let's pull a wiener.
It's a top. You're the top, Gil. I'm gonna give you final say. What should we do?
To be honest with you, you have to say it again because I was just watching the clip. When Doom sees that, there's gonna be some interesting reactions. I think we're gonna have to send it out to him on Twitter. I'm so looking forward to Doomwave and myself on best of 5. I know I'm gonna lose because you always seem to have some weird answer that's not logical.
Illogical.
You cheat, is what I'm saying.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I was gonna say you cheat a lot on best
You've
5
won
with D-Live.
before.
I believe
that. You've won.
Illogical.
You've won. You're in the tournament of champions, Gil. How could I be cheating?
I don't know. You know what? I think the first time I cheated or something. I don't know. It's all kind of a weird thing. It's a weird situation. So sorry, you were saying.
I was saying you're the top. I'm going to give you the final say on how we're going to get lemons in here. Should we roll for it? Should we just add 33 for triple trilogy? What should we do?
Let's roll for it.
Roll for it.
Hey Elizabeth, how you doing?
How many up to? Dice what?
33. I don't know.
I'm gonna roll. Can we roll?
Well, you know, I tell you what. We got 300 lemons today, right? We got 300.
Oh yeah.
So should we just roll out of 300?
Yeah, sure. 300 guys. Thank you for your support. Let's go. 249.
Oh wow!
Oh
That's a good
baby.
one. That's a good one.
Dude,
there we go.
Let's go for it.
Look at this. Top power.
There you go. Gilly P loves you.
Gilly P loves you. And because I love Gilly P, I put him on the spot. And I love my trilogy brothers.
Gilly P loves you. That's all he can say. 249 lemons going straight into the chest and distributed by those who we love best.
Oh, a Borg!
Never doubt the Gilski.
Never doubt the Gilski.
Whoa, BK Johnson coming in hot with the Borg.
I put the pressure on him, and he says he comes through with the awesomeness. So 308 lemons, guys, total, coming at you right now. I click the chest now. 29 seconds. Suki, you know the line. Refresh your browsers.
Suki.
Refresh your browsers.
Suki. Oh wow.
Lurkers, this is your time to hit that follow button so you can get your booty.
Get your booty.
Yes, Suki.
Your booty.
We love you on your channel. Lady Crochet, I think I'm going to borrow that sticker. That's awesome.
We need 68 more for 200. Let's do it.
68 more?
Yeah.
Well, how about... Ooh. See, okay, take it back. Take back the chat. No, sorry. Can't do that.
Ooh,
no.
Suki's on top.
Look at that.
84.
I didn't even get to see it.
Elsar with 49. Enjoy Being 35. Total Siege 28. And Gilly P.
How did I get something? I'm surprised.
Wow.
That's
well,
kind of cool.
The top rules. I didn't even click it. Top can do whatever he wants, baby.
I don't know. You know what?
Thanks for the ice cream.
I'm embarrassed. Demons lurking, says Blogger Bob.
Oh, don't be embarrassed.
You know what? I like this. I don't know if we're gonna do it Friday, but I like this earlier kind of stream, man. This was really cool.
I will enjoy it. Every time I'm with you guys, I enjoy it. So I'm as long as I got the time, I'll commit the crime. I think that's the phrase, right? Is that the phrase? The trilogy bandits, renegades at it again. Let's go.
Oh my! Thank you, Enjoy Being. Appreciate it.
It's very cool. Well, you know what? We want to thank everyone for being here. It's awesome to kind of have these conversations, with both BK and the Coin Captain. Thank you so much for hanging out with us through our conversations. We're trying to build an amazing community here, and you are definitely part of it. If you haven't, definitely become part of our Discord. That's a way that if you've got questions that you'd like us to answer, or if you want to just kind of get in touch, that's a great way to be able to do that. I think BK, if you could, it'd be great if you could put a link in there for everyone. We're going to be back on Monday, so you know what? It's only a couple of days, but we're gonna see what we can do. Maybe we'll have a few more of these pop-up trilogy episodes. So you never know what's going to come out for all of us. It's kind of awesome. I know Coin Captain, you took a little bit of time off. I know this week I took off as well. So, we'll probably get back to our normal stuff. But hey, man, it is so much fun to be here. Elsa coming in.
Congrats.
With
New affiliate. Did you hear that? New affiliate. Party Wednesday,
Absolutely.
6 p.m. Pacific.
Hold on. Elfstar got his affiliate?
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday we did a best of 5 game show with my sister versus Elf, and he had to book off because he got his affiliate. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Hold on. So has he set everything up yet, or he's doing it for that stream?
You ask him, but the party's
can
on
I
Wednesday.
go in there and
party's
can I go in
Wednesday.
and sub right now?
Do whatever you want, man. Party's on Wednesday, 6 p.m.
I've been waiting to sub for Elfstar forever.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't know if I want to be a part of something where Elfstar.
Oh my gosh, he's got the button.
He's got it ready. He's got it ready for you, Coin.
Nah, it's all good. It's
boom, it's done.
Wednesday, 6
I'm a
p.m.
legend. I'm a legend.
Congrats,
yes.
Elf. You're the man.
You're a legend.
I am.
You're a legend.
I'm allegedly a legend.
Now because we're still trying to get to affiliate. We're not affiliate yet. We're actually we've got a little bit more work to do. So if you are around, you're watching, and you're not a follower, just hit that follows button. That helps us grow. We can't host anyone, but do we have someone that we want to send everyone across to?
Yes,
who's
me.
Streaming right now.
I'm about to go.
High res.
That's it.
But also
hold on. If Coin Captain's gonna.
Coin Captain's streaming now.
Okay.
Are you streaming now? Do it.
Hold on. I normally I would have started my stream a half hour ago. My normal time is 11.
Dang.
But it's fine, guys. I love hanging out with you. I really enjoy doing this with you. So I don't mind at all. But I do actually need like a good solid 20 minutes before, I got a few things to take care of and set up before I go live anyway. So yeah, let's throw a host to someone else.
Well, we can't throw a host, but let's.
Our version of a host, right?
Yeah.
And then. If you guys want to come and check me out in about 20 minutes or so, I will do a stream tonight.
Everyone, maybe we can throw up your link there, Coin Captain. So if people want to hang out or just have it in the background, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And definitely, before that, if you guys want to go check out High Res is a friend of all of ours. He's doing a chatting stream, which is kind of cool. So go and check him out. I think that's it, guys. What a great way to. It's Friday afternoon for me, so this is the end of my my working week. I got to kind of hang out with two of my good friends here on Dlive. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
My name is Gilly P.
I'm BK Johnson.
I'm the Coin Captain.
And together we
are
Trilogy.
Love you guys.
We're out. See you guys. See you Monday or Sunday night.